Boston through the Common today. They see the guy who helped this franchise win 6 Super Bowls, entered Gillette Stadium in a different uniform. The Patriot is now a Buck. He's a champion again. 44-year-old Tom Brady returning as a visitor for the very first time. We've taken our act onto the field here as we get a little bit closer, bring Rodney in from outside. And guys, why don't we go on the field, presented by Hyundai, talk about some of the key players in this game in the rain. And I'm going to start with you, Tony, talking about some receivers for the Bucs.
Yeah, Tom loves his tight ends, but Rob Gronkowski is not here, so it falls on the wide receivers. Mike Evans, that big, strong guy on the outside, Drew.
And he loves to attack the middle of the field with Chris Godwin. Runs every route on the tree.
Rodney, J.C. Jackson, corner. Got to watch him. He was banged up during the week.
Absolutely, and I expect him to match up with Mike Evans. He's big, he's fast, so he can't give up the big play down the field. But also, Mike, without Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans becomes Tom Brady's favorite target.
And Rodney, you've always told me that pressure is the key to playing against Tom Brady, and the guy that the Patriots got to create that pressure is Matthew Judon.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been their best defensive player. He's been good. He hasn't been great. They paid him a lot of money, Coach, and we talk about it all the time. In order to disrupt Tom Brady, you got to hit him. It's going to be up to him to do that tonight.
And, Drew, we talked about it earlier. The Patriots quarterback making his 4th start, threw 51 times against the Saints last week.
Yeah, this is a classic Bill Belichick do-your-job game for Mac Jones. Don't put too much on the young quarterback. Just let him go out and execute. Find open receivers. He's going to have some opportunities. It's just a matter of making those big plays.
Well, as we were moving over and working the umbrellas, we were also taking a peek. You guys notice anything out on the field here in warm-ups, Rods?
Yeah, I had a couple guys, players from the Patriots, walk up to me and say, hey, we cannot lose 2 games at home, so they're going to be ready.
And for me, I noticed Tom Brady, just how relaxed he was, talking to Drew before the game, shaking hands with people out here. You know, he looks very, very calm. I want to see how he is at kickoff.
I talked to some of his Bucs teammates pregame, and all those guys said, we feel the energy tonight to win one for Tom.
You feel a sense of history tonight, don't you?
Wait, what are you talking about?
Well, there's a little history with you, too.
I think there's going to be some history made.
All-time passing leaders in NFL history. Brett Favre is 4th with just under 72,000 yards. Peyton Manning is 3rd, right around that same number. Tom Brady currently sits at number 2. It is my distinct honor to stand next to the NFL's all-time passing yardage leader. I can say that for another hour or so.
I was going to say, what, that's tonight? That's going to happen tonight? Oh, okay. Well, we got to be ready for that. I'll tell you what, if there's one guy who's going to take this record, it's got to be Tom Brady. I've had such an unbelievable relationship with him. It's been highly competitive for the first 15, 17 years of our time, playing in the NFL against each other, but we've had some great moments.
68 yards away.
Can I say something real quick? And I had the pleasure to play with this guy and play with Tom Brady. So congratulations on everything you've done, bro.
We told you when Tom Brady arrived, there were a bunch of folks who passed by. He stopped and said hello. Drew, you got a chance to see him and spend a minute with him as well. You guys have known each other as competitors and got to know each other a little bit better as time has gone on here.
No, we have, and I say especially over the last 3 years, I say our relationship is become so much about gratitude and appreciation. We've had a chance to play against each other for a long time, since 1999 in the Big Ten. But the last 3 years, I actually went back and looked at all our text messages during that time, and he was there to congratulate me with all the big records and 4th quarter comebacks and big games, and I did the same for him. And I think towards the end, it was just so much gratitude, appreciation, so many parallels with our football journeys together, and just been an unbelievable ride. It's been incredible to watch him and obviously what he's going to be able to accomplish tonight.
And pass your record. Sorry about that. Hey. I'll be here for support, though.
They're meant to be broken.
Time now for the PointsBet Pulse for tonight. Let's look at some of the unique numbers and opportunities to talk about. Props that are out there tonight, like who's going to catch the pass that'll be 68 yards to go past Drew Brees on the all-time list. As we look at some of the other options that are out there, how the Pats going to defend Tom Brady tonight?
Well, this man has told me for 12 years there's only one way to do it. Pressure up inside the pocket and tight physical man-to-man coverage. So I think we're going to see a lot of that early.
Well, Coach, we know one thing. These quarterbacks, when you get in their face and you hit them, they become different quarterbacks. So I expect a lot of pressure up the middle as well, Coach.
Well, you can download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else. Some more Brady by the numbers from America's favorite data analyst now, Steve Kornacki, Pats fan from childhood, a guy who Steve once owned a Drew Bledsoe jersey back in the day.
Mike, you're taking me back to the mid-'90s when Pats fans thought it would never get better than having Bledsoe and Parcells. Little did we know what was coming. But we're talking Tom Brady now, and it's been more than 4 years since Brady hit the big 4-0, since he turned 40, the age when most NFL quarterbacks, if they're still even playing, are slowing down. Watch here, though. We'll show you how, if anything, Brady's picked it up. So what you're seeing, these are the most prolific quarterbacks in league history after the age of 40. That's what we're looking at here. And we're going to do this year by year. And you see, at the age of 40, 2017 for Brady, he threw 40 touchdown passes. You see Drew Brees, Brett Favre, Warren Moon, remember him? Now watch how Brady separates himself as he ages. Through 41 years old, Favre retires at that point. This was last season for Brees. Brady up to 71 when he was 41. Through 42 years old, now Brady jumps to nearly 100. Brees played one playoff game at 42. Then he retired. Through 43 years old, this was last season in Tampa for Brady, up to 145. And then just a few games into this year, 155 touchdown passes and counting, just since his 40th birthday. In fact, Brady now one of only 5 quarterbacks in NFL history who even threw a pass after turning 44 years old. And most of these other quarterbacks here were basically backups at that point. Moon, Testaverde, DeBerg, they all retired after they played a season at 44 years old. Brady, starting next season, is only chasing one other quarterback. This is George Blanda, who actually, he was mostly a kicker his final years, but he did throw 3 passes when he was 48 years old and 96 days. That's the all-time record. Brady, mark your calendars for this, second week of November 2025. That's when Brady would be old enough to break that record for George Blanda. And, you know, quickly, one other thing that's not changing for Tom Brady, merchandising. Brady gear, Brady apparel. According to Fanatics, the top-selling personal brand across all the sports since the start of this season is Tom Brady. Number 2, believe it or not, Mac Jones. A lot of Patriots fans stocking up now that they got a new quarterback.
We heard that in the ovation Jones got when he came out a few minutes ago as well, Steve. Thank you for that perspective on the legend. He's done it in so many different stadiums, but in this stadium, it has made... On opening night, we showed you all the NFL records Tom Brady has. So I wanted to show you the Patriots records as he heads off the field after warm-ups, kind of peeking in the crowd, soaking a little of the scene in. These are all the New England Patriots records that he holds. One of the all-time most decorated players within his team in the National Football League's history, but heading up the visitors' tunnel. So before he comes out for the game, time for the best of Tom Brady in Foxborough. Brought to you by Verizon 5G, built right. All right, let's go back, guys. This was not in this stadium. It was the old stadium, and Tony, it was a fumble, but it wasn't.
No, hard to believe that Tom Brady's legacy started with that play, but that's what really got them going. Adam Vinatieri, of course, delivered big.
The Tuck Rule game leading to the first of the Patriots' 6 Super Bowls, the last game in old Foxborough Stadium. Let's come to this stadium, 2003. Tony, it's the NFC Championship game. I think you know the opponent.
Yes, and we have to show this. We came in hot, but Tom Brady cooled us off.
Coach, we couldn't allow a dome team to come in under those type of conditions.
Wait, who's that guy?
Who closed the game?
What's that?
Who closed the game, 37?
It's a team game, Mike. It ain't about me.
That led to ring number 2, 2007. Rodney, how about this Week 14 game against the Steelers?
Yeah, Anthony Smith, the defensive back, he guaranteed a victory. And Tom, let him know, I'll be coming in my house trying to guarantee a victory. What's wrong with you? I'll come at you every single time.
4 touchdowns, 339, 99 yards, completing the perfect regular season that year. Drew, I don't know if you remember this, 2013, Week 6.
Do I remember this? This was a perfect pass, 5 seconds left in the game, back left corner. Just Tom Brady continues to do it.
Kembrell Tompkins caught it. Tony, 2014, the divisional playoffs against the Ravens. You were here.
I was here. Ravens were up 2 scores, but I said, hey, it's not over. Don't relax. And Tom Brady brought them back.
And the Patriots went on to win the 4th Super Bowl of the Brady era. And then Rodney, the 2017 AFC title game against a good Jaguars team.
Well, I was here as a broadcaster sitting in a booth enjoying it. And it was a great game. Jacksonville almost had it, Mike.
Some of the best of Tom Brady in Foxborough, brought to you by Verizon 5G, built right. Brady and Belichick helped bring 6 Super Bowl banners to this stadium. Together, they reshaped the entire franchise. And tonight, 18 months after splitting up, they're reunited one more time.
Morning. What's going on? Got any stories this week?
20 years in New England was incredible.
He's done more than any other player at that position.
Good day to throw.
He's a great coach, a great mentor for me for a long time.
That was a tough one.
I still have a lot of great friends there, but they know I want to kick their butt this week, so they know exactly how I'm feeling once I'm out there.
Started about 24 hours ago when Tom Brady arrived. There were fans outside the hotel to wave and say hello, and then Brady arrived at the stadium about 5:10 Eastern time, greeting Stacey James, longtime public relations man for the Patriots. Those guys have been together so many years. The fans have been here since late morning. The pregame shows were out here for the other networks. Their number 12's cold one to keep them entertained. And then after Brady arrived, Robert Kraft, the owner, came down. I talked to Robert right after. He and Tom spent about 5 minutes together. He said it was emotional for both of us. We were fighting tears. He's like a son to me. We've shared so much together. You never see the owner spend time with the visiting quarterback before a game. This isn't any game. It's a special, unique night. And when Tom Brady took the field about 30 minutes ago, a tremendous ovation, and you know there will be another one when he takes the field for the first time with the Patriots offense. And the Patriots are going to have a video right before the Bucs take the field. The fans will be able to cheer Brady. They'll also stop the game and pause it if and when he breaks Drew's all-time passing yardage record. Some thoughts here as we get wrapped up and look forward to the game.
Well, I think this night's really about two things. First and foremost, a celebration of Tom Brady, what he's meant to this organization, this community, all of Boston and New England, and what they've been able to share together. Number two, I think it's closure. A little bit of closure for Tom. You know, he left under weird circumstances there in 2019 on kind of a night like this. But obviously what he's been able to accomplish down in Tampa and what they're building there with the foundation. But trust me when I say this, all the celebration, all of that, the minute that they get in between these white lines, Tom wants to whoop the Patriots' butt.
Hey, everybody thinks that Tom Brady hates Bill Belichick. That's not the case. Anytime you're a late-round draft choice, 5th, 6th, 7th round, you appreciate the guy that believed in him. And Bill Belichick believed in Tom Brady, so Tom has nothing but the utmost respect, Coach.
And we've talked a lot about Brady and Belichick, but let's not forget the two teams. The New England Patriots do not want to go to 1-3. They want to win this game, and the Bucs don't want to fall 2 games behind undefeated Arizona. So there's a lot riding on this game, more than personal feelings.
Great point and good opportunity for the Bucs. Their entire division losing, so a chance to make up a game in the division. Time for tonight's home team picks, brought to you by Lowe's. I'll start with America's pick. America is on the Bucs, heavy, 83%. Maria and Chris, I'll let you get going.
All right, Mike, I am definitely taking Tom Brady and the Bucs and whoever's holding Rodney Harrison's umbrella right now.
Oh, seriously, what is going on there? How soft is he? Seriously, I'm going with the Bucs too. They're just too talented. I do think Belichick will have an interesting game plan, make life tough on them, but I'm going Bucs.
All right, Mike Florio, who are you going with?
I think Belichick's going to slow it down on offense, put maybe 8 guys into pass coverage on defense, and maybe they can pull Adam Vinatieri out of the stands for an overtime game winner. Patriots are winning this one, Jack Collinsworth.
Mike, I am not going to let the muskets behind me affect my decision-making right now. When the football begins, Tom Brady is leading a better team against a rookie quarterback still trying to figure it out. I'm on the Bucs. Mike Tirico, who do you guys like?
Going Pats, but I'm going to give these guys the time. Drew, go ahead.
I'm going to go Bucs. I think his team wants to win it for him. Tony?
Well, I really believe that it's going to come down to a throwing game. The Buccaneers have a great run defense, so it's going to be Tom Brady against Mac Jones. I have to give Tom Brady the edge and go with the Bucs.
Tom joked about wanting to kick the Patriots' butt, but we know he's serious. And right now, I am conflicted. I don't know who to pick, but I'm going with my boy, Coach Belichick.
You are.
I think he's going to come up with one of those epic game plans, Mike.
So funny.
I'm telling you.
All the former players went back to Belichick, right? Those are tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's. I know there is a lot of build-up, but you know what? It's the greatest quarterback of all time and the greatest coach of all time. And they did it together. And maybe for one last time, they share a football field. That makes tonight something special. As anticipated, an NFL regular season game as the league has seen in its 102 years. Called, as it should be, by Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. Enjoy the game from Foxborough. We'll see you at halftime. The return is next.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
He comes out of the visitors' locker room, and a full house of 66,000 watching a video tribute await the grand entrance. six-time champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome tonight's visitors, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What a scene. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle DeFoy. To much of the fans, thanks for the memories. To some of the other fans, you spurned us. But one thing we know, the schedule will let him come home again.
You know, Brady's been in every situation football could possibly throw at him, from Super Bowls to controversies. But I don't think anything could prepare him for this. You can't practice this. Al, he was getting emotional when we were talking to him yesterday, and he hadn't even gotten on the plane yet. The only question I have is just how quickly can he get locked in out here tonight?
44 years old, he's turning the hourglass sideways. We're seeing something that defies convention.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about what Brady has done and how he did it, I think, for generations to come. But for tonight, it's a chance for one more giant exclamation point for not only a great coach, but a great quarterback, too.
Down to the field right now. Check in with Michelle.
Al, Tom Brady not only helped build a dynasty here over the course of 2 decades, he also built an unparalleled bond with the Patriots fans. So how has that bond withstood the separation? Well, we asked some tailgaters here whether or not they'll be cheering for Brady tonight. Graham from Methuen, Massachusetts said, what that man gave us for 20 years here at Gillette Stadium, 6 world championships, 20 years of winning football. How can you not cheer for the man? Marcus from Boston said, I've been torn about it. The fans are probably going to cheer for him, but personally, Tom doesn't play for us anymore. And you shouldn't cheer for any player that does not play for your team, period. And Schwartzy from Ashland said, I'll cheer for him when he comes out, but after that, nah. I want some sacks. I want to see our friggin' linebackers just pummel them and punish him. But squarely in Brady's corner tonight will be his parents. They don't make it to every game anymore, so I asked Tom how meaningful it was to him that they are here tonight. And after a lengthy pause, he answered, and his voice wavered as he said, my parents, football, New England. I get emotional when I think about all that. Family is everything. I'm a lucky guy, man. Al?
What a buzz in this building right now. Bill Belichick, he and Brady, of course, made beautiful music for 2 decades as the Patriots come out onto the field.
And now the starting defensive
and we go to Carrie Underwood to get it rolling.
The Sunday Night Anthem, delivered by Uber Eats. Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs. And by Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked. on Tuckit.com. Tonight, you'll be seeing the game like never before with the Walmart Plus 4K Skycam. Get more out of game day with Walmart Plus, a membership with free same-day delivery on fresh groceries and more.
This fall, a new journey begins, filled with remarkable stories, leading to a moment when, for the first time in history, the two biggest events in the world will take place together. It will be once in a lifetime.
NBC Sports, home of Super Bowl 56, welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
And the architects behind them, a magical night in Foxborough, most anticipated regular season game in recent memory. There is a game here tonight. New England starts 1-2, both losses at home. They're a big home underdog tonight. What gives them the best chance for an upset?
Well, we know how hard it is to run the football against Tampa Bay. So Mac Jones is going to get his opportunity. Here we go. He's been really good throwing the ball short. Some of the intermediate stuff, not so good getting the football down the field. But Tampa's secondary is hurting out here tonight, missing some key people. Their pass rush only has 3 sacks on the season so far. So Mac Jones will have a chance to shine.
Bucs had won 10 straight before they lost to the Rams in Los Angeles last Sunday. Brady and Belichick know each other inside out. How do you see the wheels spinning tonight?
You know, Brady's going to want to come out here and put on a show, right? This is sort of his night. And so what's Belichick going to want him to do? He's going to want him to run the ball and check it down and be patient and all the things that Brady's not going to want to be out here this evening. So I think it's really going to be a game of adjustments and adjustment to the adjustments. Let's face it, this is a great chess match, and we have 2 of the great grandmasters going at it.
Perfect way to put it. Back to Michelle.
Al, the Bucs offense is missing 2 key players tonight. Tom Brady's favorite target, Rob Gronkowski, is out with a rib injury. Running back Gio Bernard is sidelined with a knee issue. And on defense, Jason Pierre-Paul is out with a shoulder injury, and corner Jamel Dean is out. So Richard Sherman, who signed on Wednesday, will start in his place. This will be his first game in 287 days. And the Patriots star running back James White is out with a season-ending hip injury. Right tackle Trent Brown is out with a calf problem. Wide receiver N'Keal Harry was activated off injured reserve and will play in his first game of the season, Al.
A lot of key injuries, and that's a key as well. Weather. Started to rain, light rain earlier, a little heavier right now, 60 degrees. Wind only 5 miles per hour. It's supposed to be raining off and on through much of the game tonight. This crowd just crazy. I mean, before the game, when Brady came out, running the length of the sideline, giving it the fist bump when he reached the end zone, hugging Josh McDaniels, his longtime offensive coordinator. Tampa won the toss, and they have deferred, so we won't see Brady right off the bat. Gunnar Olszewski is one of their return men, but this time they go with Brandon Bolden with Pinion to send it down to the end zone. And a flag is thrown as it was booted out of bounds before it got to the goal line.
Kickoff out of bounds. Kicking team number 8.
So that's worth 15 yards instead of it being at the 25 with the touchback. They'll start at the 40-yard line. You saw Bruce Arians celebrating his 69th birthday here today. So Mac Jones is the rookie quarterback. Picked in the first round. He was the 5th quarterback chosen and the 15th overall pick. Damian Harris, his college teammate at Alabama, is the running back. And they'll start with a pass and a completion for a gain of 6. Hunter Henry, one of the tight ends. Let's take a look at the New England offense.
Mac Jones, Alabama. Damian Harris, Alabama. Nelson Aguilar, Fight On. Jacoby Myers, NC State. Hunter Henry, Arkansas.
Jonnu Smith, FIU.
Isaiah Wynn, Georgia. Mike Owen, Michigan. David Andrews, Georgia.
Shaq Mason, Georgia Tech.
Justin Haran, Wake Forest.
And a nice start. That was Kendrick Bourne making the catch. So 2 plays, 2 passes, and a first down as they went no huddle on that and go no huddle here.
And both passes right at Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman just signed this week. Was only in camp for 3 or 4 days. Veteran, of course, with Seattle and San Francisco. Jones changing the play at the line. Off play action, under pressure, throws, complete. So he's 3 out of 3. Hunter Henry makes the catch, and Levante David with the tackle.
You think this is a tribute to Cam Newton here? Superman. Superman, here we go. Maybe Cam liked that play.
Again, no huddle. They go quick pace at the beginning of the game. Play fake again. This time he's under pressure, and this time he goes down to the 50-yard line. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the rookie drafted in the first round out of the University of Washington, takes him down, making it 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked to Tryon-Shoyinka about yesterday was being patient. Now he's going to start working to the inside. He was all about speed. He wanted to get around the edge and get the sacks that way. But now they're teaching him just slow down. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes fall back underneath, and those quarterbacks will run into you.
3rd and 9 at the 48.
We're good. 54. 180.
Pressure from the outside again. He steps up. Jones does. Throws. And it's incomplete at the 40-yard line. Carlton Davis, the defensive back, breaking it up. Then for Aguilar, it'll be 4th down and 9.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the throw or the route or anything else. What was wrong was Carlton Davis was better than Nelson Aguilar was. That's all it was. It was just absolutely perfect coverage. So a couple of completions, but now here we go with Mr. Brady.
Jake Bailey to punt. Jaden Mickens back to receive at the 10-yard line. They're going to let it roll. And it takes a bounce backwards and is down at the 11-yard line. So here comes Tom Brady. Off the opposite sideline. Well, you know, he got a tremendous ovation. I would say 6-1 in favor. But now that the game has started, enough of the romance. They want the Patriots to win the game.
I think these fans had a game plan. That overwhelmingly, they were cheering for him when he came on the field. Overwhelmingly, when they turned out the lights and did the demonstration. He runs out to play the game. Boo!
Yeah, forget about the pass. We're concerned about the president right now, they're basically saying in unison. From the 11-yard line, and they're really loud. Off the play fake. He throws, and that pass is almost picked and incomplete. Intended for Mike Evans over the middle. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, the patented play-action pass right off the play from Tom Brady, and this is one that he's always loved. They come up anytime you go hard play action. Going to try and hit that tight end right over the middle. So many times it's Rob Gronkowski over the years. This time it was Mike Evans. And the ball just got away. Remember, it is raining out here. We could see a few passes get away.
Empty the backfield on 2nd and 10. Goes to the sideline, reaching up, making the grab. There is Evans. And let's take a look at the Tampa Bay offense.
Tom Brady, Michigan.
Leonard Fournette, LSU.
Mike Evans,
Texas A&M.
Chris Godwin, Penn State.
Antonio Brown, Bowman University. O.J. Howard, Alabama.
Donovan Smith, Penn State.
Ali Marpet, the Hobart College.
Ryan Jensen, CSU Pueblo.
Alex Kappa, Lumberjack Iron.
Tristan Wirfs,
Really good offensive line. You saw, of course, with Gronkowski out. Howard gets the start. We'll see a lot of Cameron Brate as well. On 3rd down and 2, squirting through the middle. And a big gain all the way out past the 40-yard line goes Leonard Fournette. Small little hole. He exploits it for a gain of 22.
Yeah, it's really a brilliant cut this time by Fournette. Watch him come in here and then get back out. They're going to pull Marpet across and then block back with the center. And I tell you, Leonard Fournette, starting sort of with the playoffs a season ago, has just reestablished himself in my mind as that bullish kind of player that he was in college.
Yeah, he was the 4th overall pick by Jacksonville a few years back. This time he goes nowhere. Let's take a look at the New England defense.
Deatrice Wise Jr., Arkansas.
Lawrence Guy, Arizona State. Devon Gottschalk, LSU.
Matthew Judine, Grand Valley State.
Dante Hightower, Alabama.
Kyle Van Noy,
Brigham.
J.C. Jackson, Maryland.
Adrian Phillips, Texas.
Devin McCourty, Rutgers. Jonathan Jones, Auburn.
Jalen Mills, LSU.
Their pass defense has been very good. Their run defense has not been good. 2nd and 11. It's Antonio Brown at the bottom of your screen. Godwin goes in motion. Brady to Brown. Brown up to the 46-yard line. Jonathan Jones makes the stop. Remember a few years ago we came in here and they had signed Antonio Brown. Brady wanted him, but that didn't last long.
Yeah, it's been a storied career, hasn't it, for Antonio Brown? All the brilliance we saw in Pittsburgh, then some off-the-field stuff. But his personal relationship with Tom Brady really has turned the tide, and nobody has gotten more targets on this offense than Antonio Brown since he arrived. That might surprise some people.
There's Fournette, bottom of the screen. 5 receivers here. Empty backfield now. Brady brings Fournette in, sends him back out into the pattern, dances around, has time, deep downfield and incomplete. Intended for the tight end Cameron Brate. So the drive stalls after that big run by Fournette. 4th and 5.
Yeah, good protection. This is one you just don't see missed very often. You know, we're so used to throwing the ball to Rob Gronkowski, but now Cameron Brate is going to take on that lead tight end role here tonight.
The Patriots had nobody back, and now they send Gunnar Olszewski back to set up at the 10-yard line. Kenyon sends it to the sideline. And, oh, baby, this one is going to be spotted after a touchback.
It hit the pylon.
It did. Man, oh, man, he kicked one off out of bounds and nearly sends this one out of bounds at the 1. Instead, it comes out to the 20. Scene before the game stretched out for about a mile as we drove in earlier tonight. Party time in Foxborough and environs. Tell you what, after the breathless hype, it's so great to have a football game.
It feels different, doesn't it?
New England at the 20-yard line. Toss back here. And that is Harris. Stop back of the line as we take a look at the Tampa Bay defense.
Ndamukong Suh, University of Nebraska. Vita Vea, UW.
William Golston, Detroit Southeastern.
Shaquille Barrett, Colorado State. Levante David, Liberty City Warriors.
Devin White, GLS.
Joe Tryon, Washington.
Carlton Davis, Auburn.
Antoine Winfield Jr., Minnesota.
Jordan Whitehead, Pitt.
Richard Sherman, Stanford University.
That banged up secondary we talked about. Passes out. The ball is caught. Then it's fumbled. And this is Jacoby Myers losing it and Devin White coming up with it. So the ruling on the field is a catch and a fumble. Back we go.
Take a look. He gained control.
Ruling on the field at the catch. Fumble recovered by the defense.
Automatically reviewed. Shaq Barrett was there to punch it out. They have control and the feet down.
There's a little bobble initially there, so I don't know if that's a Terry. You're going to have to dig in on this one now.
All right, he does bobble it, Chris, but and then he gets control with 1 foot down, takes a second step, and then the ball is popped out.
And we'll get the ruling from New York in a moment.
Play, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd and 16, correction, 3rd and 14 at the 16-yard line. Please reset the game clock to 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
Vinovich makes the call. Happy birthday to Bruce Arians. So the ball comes back to the 16. It stays in possession of the Patriots. Arians still exorcised.
Before the game, the head coaches are always over buttering up the officials. They're smiling, they're laughing, and it lasts about a minute and a half.
Yep, that's about it. So 3rd down and 14 now. Brady was set to come back into the game, but he'll go back to the bench.
Hey, 54. 180.
Jones to take the snap. 4-man rush. Fires over the middle. That is caught out at the 25-yard line, but well short of the first down. Brandon Bolden gets taken down at the 21. Of course, they're minus James White. He'll be gone for a while, and for the moment, Bolden will take that role as the 3rd down back.
Yeah, and they're not going to take a chance with Mac Jones. This is too big a moment, too big a game, and that's what we've seen throughout the course of the year so far. Even in a 3rd and very long situation, check it down, punt it away, give our defense a chance.
Bailey's punt here, his first was 37 yards. This will be fielded at the 28-yard line by Mickens. Flag is thrown, and he'll be run out of bounds at about the 45. And we'll get the call. Bill Vinovich, who's no stranger to Super Bowls and big games, unless he was assigned to tonight's game, which is a fairly significant game. There's your basic block in the back.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 28. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. Tampa ball, 1st down.
Penalty on Rashard Robinson. So Brady tonight, in all likelihood, he will surpass Drew Brees, who happens to be in the house. Drew, an NBC man right now, part of our Football Night in America crew. So Brady coming into the game, 68 yards. Wouldn't it be something if he threw for 69, breaks the record, then the next pass would be, there's Drew Brees, a 2-yard loss, and Drew could get the record back for about 11 seconds.
Would they redo the ceremony?
I don't think so. It's supposed to stop the game, but not for long, assuming they're not in a no huddle when he breaks the record. Fournette is the back to start this drive from the 18-yard line. Leonard bounces off a pile, chased by Judon, and comes close to picking up a 1st down. Great run. Fournette stopped at the line of scrimmage, cuts to the outside, and looks to be a little bit, for the moment, short, but now they're going to give him a 1st down.
Yeah, Fournette's getting it done so far. There was absolutely no hole whatsoever there, and he just created that one on his own. Antonio Brown with a little business decision there as Matthew Judon was chasing.
So Fournette has run for 31. Brady is 2 out of 4 in the air for 14 yards. Good protection. Fires, incomplete. And Mike Evans is there. J.C. Jackson wanted offensive interference. 2nd and 10.
These two have been matched up all night long. J.C. Jackson on Mike Evans. And let's take a look. From here, it did look like Evans was trying to break it up and pull Jackson away from that ball. Take a look. Boy.
Could have called it.
That'd have been a defensive back doing that to a receiver. I'm thinking that would have been called.
Crowd roaring, almost everybody standing. 2nd and 10. Quick toss here. This is Fournette again, off to a great start tonight. Leonard to the 41-yard line, tackled by Dante Hightower. First down.
They are really working hard here to try and take away the run inside. But the interesting thing is the Bucs really have not been a running team at all this year, flipping it to the outside. And one of the underrated players on this team has been Fournette as a receiver. They really have started using him more and more, and they think by the end of this season, he's going to be a first-class guy coming out of the backfield.
He gets arrested. They put Jones in the game, and Ronald Jones right through the middle for about 3. Jones fumbled in the opener against Dallas and didn't see any more action. I don't know, he's been in the doghouse, maybe he's been in the puppy house a couple of times, but there is Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, matching wits with Steve Belichick, whose father is the head coach, but Steve kind of calls the defensive signals, or at least we're told.
De facto defensive coordinator.
De facto. Second and 7. Nice pass right there into traffic. Evans, 7 years in the league. Every year he's gained 1,000 or more yards. First down.
These two are just slugging it out there, and this time J.C. Jackson is going to give him a little room outside. Evans going to take advantage back to the inside. That is going to be a battle all night long. J.C. Jackson was just phenomenal a season ago. 9 interceptions, just one off the league lead.
28 yards more to set the record. Fires, caught, and that should do it. Mike Evans will take it to the 15-yard line, and so on that play, over the middle for 27 yards. They're going to call it 28 yards. He's going to be one shy of the mark. Drama builds. They actually moved it 1 yard to the 14 to actually tie the record. So the record now belongs to both Brady and Breeze for the moment. First down, 14-yard line. Timeouts. Why not? We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from AWS.
According to AWS Next Gen Stats, Lockett had a 25.9% chance to catch that. What a play!
AWS, you can stat that.
King's right, 2 wide banana, alert diamond. Stat that.
Stop that! How is that even possible?
So by moving the ball a yard further on that last pass, we are now told that that record has been broken. They're announcing it to the crowd right now. They put it up on the board. So they originally spotted it a yard back, gave them the extra yard, and there is your record. Not quite high drama, but
not much of a ceremony either.
No, nothing. And a timeout on top of it. And this pass is caught by Brown. Brown trying to get by Mills. He's out of bounds at the 10-yard line. So the tally right now, counting that pass, kind of a crazy way to break a record. There it is. He's now 4 yards in front of Drew Brees. Because Tom wants to play until he's 50. Talked about that, the possibility. Well, Drew, you had it a long time, my man. Well, you had it a few years anyway.
They had a better ceremony, too.
Yes, that was a little different.
It was.
You know, it's one thing when you break it in your home building. They would have made a big deal of it in Tampa, even though they wouldn't have known until they moved the ball the yard further. In any event, here's your record holder right now, throwing in the end zone and overthrowing McElroy, the tight end, just throwing it away. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Well, there's no doubt that the guy that he's been relying on so far in the red zone this year is Rob Gronkowski out of this one with broken ribs. And Giovanni Bernard was someone that really had become much of a factor in that last game as well, and he's out for this one as well. So some of those security blankets in these situations now out for Tom Brady.
Ninth play of the drive started back at his own 18-yard line. Brings Fournette back into the slot and then throws, and that's incomplete, intended for Cameron Brate. So it's 4th down, and in comes the field goal unit.
I mean, this is just completely missed, no matter how you look at it. Guy I really like this Kyle Duggar on the outside in coverage, but Tom Brady was throwing that thing for the back corner of the end zone, and Brate was definitely somewhere else, and Tom's had a few get away from him here tonight.
Again, still raining, has been since the start of the game. This is a 29-yard field goal attempt by Ryan Suckup. And there are the first points of the game with 4:49 left in the opening quarter. Tampa Bay 3, New England nothing.
Eastern, only on NFL Network.
Ariana Grande is the new coach on The Voice with Blake, Kelly, and John. The Voice blind auditions with Ariana Monday and Tuesday, otherwise known as tomorrow and Tuesday on NBC. Here's downtown Boston, 29 miles to the north on a 58-degree and light rain night in Foxborough. Bradley Pinion, who kicked off out of bounds the first time, sends this one down through the end zone, and they'll take it at the 25-yard line. Mac Jones, learn a little bit about him. Born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. Matriculated over at the University of Alabama. Playing for Nick Saban in Tuscaloosa. Wins the national championship. And 3-point average 4.0 at Bama. Picked in the first round. A lot of people thought San Francisco was going to go after him, but they went for Trey Lance instead. Jones fires over the middle, and that's caught. That's going to be a first down and more. Out to the 42-yard line, Kendrick Bourne makes the catch there, and the Patriots will come up to the line of scrimmage as they started the game with no huddle, and now they'll huddle back up.
Yeah, just staying with those short, quick passes over the middle. I keep expecting them to at least take a look at Richard Sherman on the outside. He only got there on Wednesday. How much of it can he know? And physically, where is he?
Toss back here. J.J. Taylor with the carry. So a lot of people, the conventional wisdom was they thought San Francisco had traded up to get him. They went for Lance. Then he lasts till the 15th pick, so he falls pretty much into the Patriots' lap.
Yeah, no question. And I think if you were grading the rookie quarterbacks, the 5 taken in the first round, at least right now, you would say Mac Jones has probably been the best. Long way to go, and he's the most prepared for it, honestly.
2nd and 10. That's incomplete up at the 50-yard line. Henry looked for a flag, doesn't get it. Barrett covers on the play. 3rd and 10. He's the only among the only one of the rookie quarterbacks who have even won a game to this point in the season prior to this weekend.
Yeah, just watch his eyes here. He started to the left, went to the middle, came back. That's a 3-read progression right there. And for rookie quarterbacks, you don't see that a whole lot. Obviously well coached by Nick Saban and company at Alabama, and he was ready for this moment.
3rd down and 10. Here comes pressure. Look out. He gets hit as he throws, and it's juggled, and it's intercepted. Antoine Winfield with the interception. Devin White had a free shot and barrels into Jones as he gets rid of it. So the defense will celebrate, and the offense will take over when we come back to Foxborough.
To come, like Stainmaster with lifetime stain resistance limited warranty.
Order now. Get your flooring installed with help from Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility.
Back in Foxborough, Tom Sr. and Galen. Tom in the white hat. Brady's parents. There's Giselle in the front there in the red. Not often does the visiting team offer a luxury suite to a visiting player, but in this case, you can understand it. Sort of. 1st and 10. Here's Fournette. Especially on a rainy night, it's very helpful. To the 37, he goes short game, 2nd down.
But as soon as you brought up the parents of Tom Brady, that's when some of the emotions started coming out, you know, because it all started flooding back for him. His parents and all the great memories they had here and at Super Bowls and what the people here and so many friends he hadn't seen in a year and a half because of COVID. It just hit him.
2nd and 6. Brady off play action and overthrows Tyler Johnson there. So Tom with some overthrows tonight, 3 in fact. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Matthew Judon is starting to have his presence felt here. Donovan Smith on the outside. Watch a little inside move, and Smith's going to hook him and hook him and hook him, and that's legal, I guess. But again, the ball just sailing a little high on occasion.
From the 38, and the whistle before the snap here.
12 men on defense in formation. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Yeah, it turns a 3rd and 6 into a 3rd and 1. Steve Belichick trying to figure out who was that.
Steve has a little bit of that John Gruden growl, doesn't he? Where the Patriots just, in order to win this game tonight, you just get the feeling they're going to have some special plays on defense and keep getting the ball back.
Through the middle here. Picking up the needed yardage is Fournette. Good quarter for Fournette tonight. 5 carries, 38 yards, and caught 1 for 13.
Yeah, and Byron Leftwich was telling me this week, the offensive coordinator for the Bucs, that he really felt like some of it was his fault, that they had not given opportunities enough to Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. He knew what they could do with it, and you can see already here tonight making a little bit more of a concerted effort.
Clean pocket. Good pass to midfield. And Evans takes the ball a yard into New England territory. J.C. Jackson makes the stop there, 2nd and 5.
Yeah, not the man coverage. Now dropping back into some zones here with in front of J.C. Jackson. So it was a heck of a battle for a little while. It was just strictly one-on-one. But remember, we were talking about adjustments and adjustments to the adjustments. I think what Belichick is going to try and do is basically throw a different style of defense at Brady every single time. So when he goes over and makes his adjustments, he has to come back and see something new.
Brady spins. Evans this time, and he can't get free. Stopped there for a gain of 1, making it 3rd down.
You ever been in a situation you felt anything close to what you can imagine Tom Brady going through this emotion here tonight?
Well, after the conversation with him yesterday, you could feel it. I mean, we started out, it's the regular kind of Zoom call we always have. And then by the end of it, you could tell as he was getting ready to go to the airport, it was different.
Yeah, this wasn't a normal game, was it?
No way. But now he's settled in. He has the lead, and he has a 3rd and 4 here. A little over a minute to play in the opening quarter. Brady, it's a wobbly pass, but it's right there, and Brown is able to adjust and pulls it in. He beats Jonathan Jones, so to the outside he goes. He hits Antonio Brown, and that's a gain of 29 yards.
Oh my gosh, was that fantastic. An out and up by Brown, and then a back shoulder. So many times as a defensive back, you go, oh, it's an out and up. I got to fly, I got to catch up, got to go get there. And then as soon as you do, now they're going to play add-on with a back shoulder to that. There just aren't many offenses or quarterback wide receiver combinations that advanced.
From the 21-yard line, Fournette. And that might take us to the second quarter. Don't have to run a play. If they don't want it second down, it'll be second down and 7. Brady slowly getting back into the huddle. Wind not a factor tonight, so they'll flip sides of the field, and Tom will be content to take it to the other end. End of 1. Tampa Bay 3, New England nothing. And Sunday Night Football from Foxborough resumes right after these messages. By Geico, downtown Boston. There'll be a baseball game there on Tuesday night. Red Sox hosting the Yankees in the play-in game. There's Belichick's record. Former quarterback starts against him, 5-1 when Bledsoe was at Buffalo. Testaverde, Castle, Hoyer, and Garoppolo, the only guy to beat him when Jimmy took over for the then suspended Tom Brady back in 17. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoyer. Brady, good protection, fires and incomplete. Tries to hit Evans, upset that he couldn't make the grab. J.C. Jackson covering on the play. It's third down and 7.
Yeah, I think that Mike Evans is really starting to have his way on the outside with J.C. Jackson. He's getting open fairly consistently for whatever reason. They just aren't connecting. Wet football, whatever the case may be, but big as Mike Evans is, that could have been a touchdown.
At the 18, third and 7. Tight formation. Play clock down to 2. Brady throwing low for Fournette, so they stop him here. That was Matthew Judon, big free agent acquisition from the Ravens, putting the heat on. Fourth down.
Great job right there defensively, because they convinced them that all these guys were pressure options. They slide that way, and Judon ends up with a free run, and Brady had no choice but to throw that one high. So defensively, I think you are overjoyed at this point in the game that they're lining up for yet another field goal, because offensively the Patriots have done nothing.
This is a 36-yard attempt. Suckup made one earlier from 29. And that one is no good. So not only do they stop him, they don't score, and they're going to get the ball with 14:49 and down by 3 in Foxborough. Belichick, Brady, right now it's a 3-point game. So the Bucs have outgained New England 148 yards to 32. And no points off the turnover. The Jones interception. Kick was wide. They take over at the 26. First minute of the second quarter. Come up with a fullback this time. Give it to Harris, and he goes next to nowhere with a flag coming in from behind.
Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's the left guard, Mike Owenu,
who's probably their best player up front. And right now, Al, this is just not working, because what you're seeing is a team, they can't run the football on them. We talked about it in the opening on camera. Don't feel badly. Nobody else can run the football on these guys either. On opening night, the Dallas Cowboys spread it out, throw quick screens, get it out. The best I have seen Mac Jones look all year is when they get in spread formations just like this. Makes it easier to decipher what's going on, see if they can get something going.
Bucs were the best run defense in the league the last 2 years. Play fake here. Pass is caught, but also the coverage is perfect. Pass is caught there. Golston makes the tackle. We go to Michelle.
Al, in July, Richard Sherman was arrested after trying to break into his in-laws' house in Redmond, Washington. He was charged with and pleaded not guilty to 5 misdemeanors, including DUI and criminal trespass. He had no prior criminal record. He said he's deeply remorseful, and I'll finish up in just a second.
Well, with all the injuries, they had their eye on him for about 3 weeks. Jones steps away, avoids the sack, fires. Myers to the 32-yard line, and that will be Bourne, the former 49er, hauling it in, but short of the first down by about 3.
Full blitz coming at Mac Jones that time, but then it's on the outside. Richard Sherman, we just talked about him, on Kendrick Bourne, who I think has really added an element to this offense and should be in the mix a heck of a lot more. Now they're cranking it up, spreading it out. This is a big play for them right here, 3rd and 3.
Jones fires, wide open, Myers to the 49. So it's a big play for them, and they pick up their 3rd first down of the night.
Just look how much easier it is to read this when you get in those spread formations, because he knows exactly if they're blitzing, not blitzing right now.
Going no huddle again.
Jordan as in Michael doing the free throw looking shot.
Over the middle, and lucky that one wasn't picked. Michelle, finish up on that Richard Sherman story.
Yeah, Sherman said he's deeply remorseful. He's been addressing his mental health through counseling and medication. The league told me they are monitoring the matter as it goes through the legal system, but Sherman remains eligible to play. Thus, here he is.
That is best, of course, in Seattle, part of that Legion of Boom. Then on to San Francisco. And now in the pewter and red of Tampa Bay. Look out, Jones throws, that's caught. Bourne again to the 48-yard line.
They are coming after this young quarterback right now, and he is hanging in there really tough. They're going to come with a slot blitz off the edge over here, and Jones knows it's coming, and he's going to get whacked. But he stood in there and made that play. I think he's starting to get over a few nerves. Can you imagine what it'd be like for him playing in this game?
Absolutely. 3rd down and 5. Trips to the left side. He'll go the other way. And that's incomplete, but a flag is thrown, intended for Harry and Richard Sherman on the coverage. Going against Tampa, so it's against Sherman.
Pass interference, defense number 5. Spot foul, automatic first down.
Let's take a look. It looked bad. There were arms out and around, but did he actually hold him? Let's take a look. Need it. Yeah, maybe right there. A little wraparound job. Pretty impressive, though. Richard Sherman come out here and basically just line up. They're like, hey, we don't have anybody left. You got to play. Okay.
He only played 5 games last season. He was hurt. Nothing this year. Come up with a fullback again. Hand the ball off. Harris. Can't get anything going there. So New England right now rushing with Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator, -4 yards.
Yeah, and he knows it. He knows what's going on with Bruce Arians over there, and he's got that run defense. They're trying to do 2 things. Trying to win football games and develop a quarterback at the same time. And sometimes those 2 things are hard to do together.
Oftentimes.
Yeah. 5 different teams.
Draw. Harris, this time he has some room, and he gets wrestled down by Levante David with a flag down.
Holding, offense number 71. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
That's 2 on this drive on a Winu.
Well, people do anything they can to try and block that monster inside Vita Vea. So here it goes, and I think he probably saw a little jersey tug right there on that side. But this is not a Patriots offense. They did overcome 1 holding call. It's asking a lot to overcome several. Belichick knows he has to be nearly perfect in that execution. They cannot be giving away 10 yards and expect this offense to make up for it.
Blitz coming, 2nd and 20. Pass is caught. Bourne to the 31-yard line. They spent a ton of money in free agency, gave a lot to that man, and so far it's been paying off for them.
Yeah, and they're leaving Richard Sherman in some off coverage, which he plays probably better than anybody, the old Seattle cover 3. And the one route you can get against this sometimes is this. A lot of times in Seattle, he wouldn't even be responsible for the dig portion of that route because of the way that defense was structured. He is now, and they're going after it.
Sherman knows him well because the two of them were in San Francisco together. 3rd down and 4. Caught. It's going to be a first down. Brandon Bolden, who has to play that James White role with White gone for a long while. First down.
Yeah, it looked like Devin White may have been responsible for the back going across, and they got a little pick action going inside by Hunter Henry. And so it's kind of nice when you see Mac Jones, who's been basically calling these plays at the line of scrimmage, 4.0 guy.
A little toss here. Jakob Johnson was the fullback, but nothing happening there for Brandon Bolden. 2nd down.
Jordan Whitehead coming in there, arguably the toughest guy on this football team. And there's Josh McDaniels. You know, I mean, let's face it, look at what he's. You go from Tom Brady to a really good, young, talented Mac Jones. But all of a sudden, that little playlist is about 1/10 of what it was at one point, and you're trying to make him look good. You want to put him in good spots, but this drive has been really effective so far.
Still, as you saw, only into the end zone 4 times on 34 drives. Pressure gets it away, and that's incomplete. Coverage is right there. Crowd wants a flag. That's Davis, and they do get the flag. Carlton Davis all over Nelson Aguilar. Played with Vegas last year, former Eagle.
Pass interference, defense number 24. Spot foul, automatic first down.
Yeah, and so far, just to put it in perspective, Nelson Aguilar, 11 yards per reception this year, like 18 with Vegas a season ago. He was the deep play guy. He had 8 touchdown passes, but they do not have this big shot, big play offense, not yet. They are growing into that, or they hope they are.
You better know.
Good protection over the middle. Short little gain there. Myers to about the 11-yard line. Called a pickup of 3. 2nd and 7. White makes the tackle.
Yeah, Devin White just so athletic in the middle of the field. He can go sideline to sideline. He can cover backs. Bruce Arians was he was on him a little bit this week. He said, you know what? I know you're getting a lot of great press, but let's see a few more in the stat sheet and a little bit less in the newspaper. And so, you know, Bruce, he knows how to tweak these guys.
Jones fires. That's caught and getting into the end zone. Hunter Henry for the touchdown. $11 yards for the score. $74 yards, 9 passes and 2 runs, and the Patriots take the lead.
How about this? Watch this guy right here. Yasir Durant's going to work on Shaq Barrett and just run him right around Mac Jones. Look at Mac Jones. Just step up in there. Make a play, big guy. Find one of those rich tight ends that you brought to this team that really haven't done a whole lot yet. That was one heck of a drive by a young quarterback.
Folk for the extra point. Well, here we are with 8:28 to go to the half. 7-3 New England. $5G built right by USAA Insurance, Auto Renters, and Home Insurance. By Uber Eats. Tonight, I'll be eating with Uber Eats. And by Chevy Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Brady and Belichick through their time here. Of course, this was after they won their 3rd Super Bowl. The spot out in front, the parking spot, reserved for Belichick, still is. Brady used to be his parking lot mate.
Well, they probably both got here about 5 in the morning, so didn't even need it.
Bailey to kick off. So in the meetings we had with these guys this week, Brady said, quoting him here, 20 years, we've had a great relationship. He wanted me to be the best quarterback I could be. I wanted him to be the best head coach he could be, and he was. I would never diminish anything he did. Tell me be better. Bill said, I love coaching Tom, have a ton of respect for him, appreciate everything he did, wish him nothing but success, except tonight. They start from the 25, Ronald Jones. He's the back. Gets about 6. You know, look, I mean, there's so much noise and stuff about these guys. 20 years, they were a symphony orchestra for 20 years. 6 Super Bowl titles, 9 trips to the Super Bowl, division titles every year almost. I mean, really?
And Bill Belichick was hot because playing a game like this and all the stories, all the books, all the things start coming out. And he was like 20 years, and you're going to take 10 seconds out of this conversation in this year and 20 seconds out of that conversation in that year, and somehow you're going to make this into something it wasn't. We had a great relationship. We learned a lot from each other. I learned a lot from Tom Brady. And when he got talking about you guys in the media, we both held up our hands and said, whoa, 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 whoa,
Hold on a second. Yeah, right.
But it was an emotional thing for Bill. He did not like the fact that people were trying to portray it as something other than very, very positive between the two of them.
False start. Offense number 80. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So that was no play to begin with then with the false start. Howard. Now you're right. I mean, Bill has always said we're going to block out the noise. Of course, the fabled were on to Cincinnati and all the things he's done. I mean, we laugh about the press conferences, but he did get a little exercised about what was going on this week. 2nd and 9. Brady throws. Brown makes the grab. He's tackled up at the 34-yard line by Jonathan Jones. 2nd down. Actually, 3rd down and 1.
And somebody asked Bill during the course of the week, he said, do you think you would have been as good without Tom Brady around here? He was like, of course we wouldn't have been as good, you know, but that's part of what this thing was. It worked together. It was a drill sergeant, and it was a guy who could take it and took less money. It was all those things.
3rd down and 1. Fournette. Run out of bounds, but he's able to pick up the first by Judon. Nice block by Wirfs leading the way, the right tackle.
Yeah, and these wide receivers on the outside as well. They're going to block down, bring Wirfs around here, and boy, what a rookie season Tristan Wirfs had. That was one of the best we've seen. A pressure only on about 1 out of every 30 snaps, which is phenomenal for anybody, much less a rookie tackle.
Brady, look out, and there is Judon again. The most impressive of the free agent pickups to this point. Brady called him the best player on Baltimore's defense. That's why they got him.
Yeah, one of those alternative kind of protections here. They were going to try and bring the guard, Alex Kappa, over there and double team him with Fournette, and Ron said, thank you, no. Just went right through them both. Boy, this game has turned.
2nd and 18. Playing in the steady light rain again. Brady dancing and throwing on the run, and that is incomplete to make it 3rd and 18, intended for the tight end, Brate.
One of the guys I really like is right here. Christian Barmore is a powerful guy. You're going to see him more and more and more. He was on that national championship team. He was a guy with 8 pressures and 8 sacks when he played at Alabama. And I think that as they start to go through this season, you're going to know more and more about Christian Barmore. There's no way they can keep him off the field much longer in these key situations.
Second round choice. He was their choice behind Jones. High snap. Pass has gotten away, but nothing doing there. They go to Godwin, and Mills is right there to stop him. And this crowd is frenzied right now.
Belichick throwing the Rolodex of defenses out there. That time the dollar defense with 7 defensive backs on the field. And it is a bit frustrating. We saw the Buccaneers in Los Angeles, their first game ever with Tom Brady, with a hostile crowd out there. They did not perform as well as they had been at home. And now for the second straight week, happening again.
Bradley Pinion. First kick was 55. This is a wobbly kick that skids to a stop at about the 32-yard line. Very short boot right there. 38 yards. 7-3 Patriots. Bono, we've been talking about La Brea. Debuted the other night. Ratings were great. You got to check this thing out. La Brea, Tuesday night on NBC. Boston Harbor. Well, the Crafts, Robert and Jonathan, bought the team back in the mid-90s. And they've taken them to 10 Super Bowls, 9, of course, with Belichick and Brady, but one before that in '95 when Parcells was the coach here. And Belichick was the defensive coordinator. From the 32, they start this drive with a little shoulder shake and a short pass for a gain of 4 to Jacoby Myers. Second down. Sherman makes the stop, 2nd and 6.
There's just no question this game really has changed since they went to the no huddle, since they went to the spread offense, since they started making the looks a little bit easier for Mac Jones, and he's looking like he did at Alabama right now.
Adjustments are working. Pass is caught here by Myers to the 49-yard line. He goes, and that'll be a first down. Davis makes the tackle. And Myers low and getting back up. Almost dropped it. Wet ball, of course, and holds on, but needs some attention here.
He is their top receiver right now, so that is big.
Injury timeout, 4:18 to the half. Passes, fewest in the NFL. Brady, meanwhile, 50 touchdown passes since he went down to Florida. But meanwhile, tonight it's 7-3. Patriots on top. Will update Jacoby Myers, who went into the 10th in a minute, walked off, but they're checking him out. With 4:05 and the clock now ticking down to 4 minutes and below. First down at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, they really need to get these tight ends working here. Jonnu Smith had a really rough day last week, but he is the big play threat of the 2 tight ends that they signed.
Harris, and he gets spilled at the line of scrimmage. Bursting through there was Jordan Whitehead. Great tackle. You know, Harris is slow in getting to his feet.
Jordan Whitehead's a crazy man. I'm just telling you that right now. Just watch him blow right through here. And this is not unusual. You can put a wide receiver out there like Kendrick Bourne if you want to, but good luck. He goes through him, through the fullback. Let me just take them all.
Meanwhile, Harris slow in getting up, and so they've got Myers already in the 10th, their top receiver, and now their top back, Harris. Well, that would be a major blow, at least for the Patriots. Myers is ready to get back in the game, so he checked out, and they walk Harris for the moment under his own power off to the sideline. Could have been a trip there. Uncalled.
Yep, I would say that would definitely qualify.
Terry McCauley gave us the thumbs up from Connecticut. Second It'll be 2nd down and 11. So Harris has to come out for at least one play. Brandon Bolden is back in as the running back. Myers is back in the game. And Jones is surveying, but he gets swallowed up at the 40-yard line. Shaq Barrett with a sack here. Barrett was at Denver for a number of years, but in the shadow of Von Miller comes here, and he's been a major star.
Don't see this very often. This is like an inside bull rush. Usually when they're going inside, they're trying to make a quick move, but this time he just got the inside shoulder and took it right into Mac Jones. The one thing that I noticed watching Mac Jones is a lot of times he is right there. He really needs to develop the next step of inside the pocket with some step-ups and move around. And it's not going to be a runner, but could help himself. Look out.
Look out, Myers. He's a high school quarterback, and then he's going to send it back to Bolden. And Bolden down the sideline is going to be a little short of the first down. So they needed 17 on a 3rd down. And they're going to spot the ball. Appears to be about 1.5 yards too shy of the first.
Yeah, Myers already has 2 touchdown passes, and this was a well-designed play. And any time you play those guys, 4th down.
4th down, they're going to keep the offense on the field, but they're running guys in and out, and we come to the 2-minute warning. So you can catch your breath. It's going to be 4th and 2, and we'll see what the call is when we come back. 7-3 Patriots.
If you have a typical airline credit card, you're not getting double miles on every purchase.
You're right. I only get extra miles on some types of purchases.
May I?
Please.
With a Capital One Venture card, you earn unlimited double miles everywhere.
Oh.
Yes.
Everywhere is great, but where can we use them?
You can use them on any travel purchase, not just some travel purchases.
Venture gets a gold star.
What's in your wallet?
Bridgestone is the official tire of the NFL. And as part of our commitment to driving great futures and ensuring every child has an equal opportunity to be prepared to perform, we're proud to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of America throughout the year, including a $50,000 pledge to our hometown Boys and Girls Club, made together with Tight End University in Nashville. To learn more about Bridgestone's efforts to create a more sustainable and inclusive society, visit BridgestoneAmericas.com.
New brisket at Chipotle. Seasoned, smoked, seared, spiced, sauced, bold, and guacced. It's a whole new kind of brisket done the Chipotle way.
We began looking at something that could be big. OxyContin.
We have to go after the makers of this drug.
My patients trusted me. Can't believe how many of them are dead now.
Come seek the Royal Caribbean.
What if you could see all the things your life could be? Makes you wonder, what if?
This one's a keeper, Joe.
I want you to have your dream.
New Ordinary Joe, Monday on NBC.
Third and halftime coming up. What are you going to talk about?
Bucs struggling in the red zone without Gronk.
Mac Jones is executing this no-huddle offense very well for the Patriots. Where's Roker when you need him? See you at halftime. Big play coming up, Al.
You bet, Mike. You'll put the dry cleaning bill on the expense account.
Those guys are never coming on the road again.
Nope, that's it. Back to the old green room. 4th down and 2, and now they run out the punt team after they left the offense out there. So they send Jake Bailey in with 2 minutes on a 4th and 2. Nobody is back for Tampa. And the play clock runs all the way down. Delay a game.
Go 4th down.
Well, it's an interesting call for Belichick, but his defense is playing so well. It's a rainy night. He could have gone for it, but then again,
I think this game is exactly where he hoped it would be at halftime.
Oh, yeah.
As long as they don't put a touchdown up right now. The only thing about taking that 5-yard penalty right there is you allow the punt returner to come on the field. Now, maybe it's not going to matter at all, but if he catches this thing and gets any kind of return, that was an expensive 5 yards.
The returner is Jaden Mickens. He's going to let it go. It's a short kick, but takes a great Patriot bounce and will be down to about the 5-yard line. So a wobbly, bad kick. Justin Bethel downs it there, but a great bounce for the Patriots. They'll put it at the 5.
It's well done. You just have to try and get it stopped any way you can there and not kick it in the end zone. We've seen that plenty of times. Uh-oh. Is that 24?
Back in 30 seconds. That's Carlton Davis.
Ouch.
On the turf.
Can I talk to you about something?
We talked about it. I got another 10 years left.
Not that. This is big. What do you think?
I'm in. Let's call everyone.
Hey! Yeah, I'm in! Yeah, sounds good. I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
This guy. First, even if you wanted to come back, we wouldn't take you.
Yes, you would. Yeah, we would.
You're right, we would. What's up?
I'm getting into crypto. With FTX. You in?
I believe I'm in, but still hate you.
Understood.
Is he in?
Yep.
Did he say he hates you?
He did.
I get it.
Well, that's Carlton Davis. He'd been plagued by a hamstring pull, and this looks to be pretty serious here. Watch him on the punt team here. There, oh boy. There it is. Down he goes and still needs attention. Now he's going to get to his feet. That's the good news.
Won't guess. He sort of grabbed that thigh pad in front, but it is now a real issue for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a reason Richard Sherman's starting out here. It's because Jamel Dean was out, Sean Murphy-Bunting was out, and now Carlton Davis. So all 3 of the starting cornerbacks from opening night are now on the sideline for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
This was a team that was unbelievably healthy almost all year, go on to win the Super Bowl, but now the attrition is beginning to rear its ugly head here, especially in the secondary. So Brady now has 2 timeouts at his disposal. Starts from the 5 with 1:49. Starts with a pass here to Brown for about a 5-yard gain. Jonathan Jones makes the tackle. There's Davis on the sideline. Brady, no huddle. That was a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 with 1.5 minutes now left. Under pressure. Gets away, fires, and finds the open man. That's Godwin, who's been pretty silent in this half up until now. And they'll put it at the 37-yard line.
Yeah, everybody always says the same thing. Get Tom Brady off the spot. Get Tom Brady off the spot. You get Tom Brady off the spot, and he throws one for 40 yards down the field. Dietrich Wise with some good pressure inside, and he just circled out. And that's exactly the kind of plays that Mac Jones will be making eventually in his career. Just the ability to see the mess coming and still create out of it with the full intent to always throw it and not look to run it.
So Davis on the cart going back to the locker room. Tampa Bay has 1 timeout with 1:15.
I still think that Mike Evans and J.C. Jackson, at least the way it was shaken out early, has some meat left on that bone.
There to the left. That pass is caught by Godwin. So back-to-back passes caught by Chris Godwin. That time Mills on the coverage. And that's a gain of 26.
Yeah, Godwin had been really quiet, but that slot receiver and that slot go is just so easy to complete in this league.
From the 37, Brady fires. That'll be caught. That's a first down. This time he goes to the tight end, Brady.
So both teams, as soon as they go to the spread, hurry up offense, both of them start exploding down the field.
Half a minute. Ball at the 26. Four-man rush. Brady throws, and that's incomplete. Mills covering Godwin on the play. 2nd and 10 with 25 seconds on the clock.
Tom Brady has seen a lot of different looks from Bill Belichick tonight. He just has. And they just keep rolling through them here. They are not going to get the same look more than a couple of times in a row. They do not want Brady getting locked in on anything. It's a good pressure team led by Judon on the outside.
To the outside, he goes too high and incomplete, intended for Antonio Brown. So it's 3rd down and 10 with 21 seconds on the clock.
No matter how much you know about throwing the wet football, this is what happens to some of them. They just get up and away.
Missed on a few tonight. High and wide, 15-26. Tampa Bay will get the ball to start the second half. Big 3rd and 10.
They're showing pressure.
Back off, go to the outside, incomplete, through the hands of Brown. So it's 4th and 10 with 18 seconds. And in comes the field goal unit.
Yeah, I mean, clearly the rain is bothering Tom Brady out here tonight. We can, you know, he's just not going to miss that throw very often. But I also think that Belichick is messing with him a little bit. You can see how hard it's coming down. They were showing a cover 0 blitz pre-snap, back out of it. Make him read everything on the fly.
44-yard attempt. Suck up made from 29, missed from 36. This from 44. And timeout is taken here. By New England. Well, the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Charlotte. Playoff showdown on the Roval. That's what they call it. So the field gets cut down from 12 to 8. Sunday, 2:30 Eastern on NBC. Tomorrow you can catch the Talladega race that was postponed today due to rain. That's tomorrow 1 Eastern time on NBC SN.
Well, if you're going to say who's going in the locker room, no matter what happens with this field goal happy, I mean, it's 100% the Patriots, right, at this point.
No doubt.
They have kept the Bucs out of the end zone for a half.
44-yard attempt. This one is good. So he's 2 for 3, and we have 13 seconds to halftime.
Let's take a look here. Ooh, he had it right in his palm and still managed to get that thing down. Those holders, especially in bad weather, they earn their money.
Bradley Pinion with the hold right there, 7 to. So it's an odd game. You come here tonight, you don't know what it's going to be. I mean, the Buccaneers favored by about a touchdown. If you thought about anything, you thought, you know, is it going to be a runaway? Does Brady come in against the rookie quarterback? But it's an odd game in the sense that it's so low scoring at this point.
Well, and we'll get into it a little bit more here in the second half, but we have seen Belichick take advantage to some degree of his knowledge of Tom Brady. He is mixing this thing and matching it beautifully, and we have seen some other guys. Brian Flores from Miami had success against Tom Brady. Matt Patricia in Detroit had success against Tom Brady. So they know something. We just don't know what that something is, but a lot of it is just continually changing that look.
So far he's won the Grandmaster chess match. The ball just does skitter into the end zone, and it's a likely kneel down will take the teams to the locker room. Jones in this half, 15 out of 20 for 130 yards. The Bucs have outgained New England by almost 100 yards. But the Pats will go into the locker room with the lead.
They had that drive. You know, they overcame 2 holding calls and got 2 penalties on the other side to offset those 2. But Mac Jones, that was impressive. When they opened it up, that was impressive.
That is the end of the half. Bucs get the second half kickoff. Coming up next, Toyota halftime. Mike, Tony, and Drew. Take it away, guys.
All right, Al, thank you. Patriots go back to their locker room right behind us. A little wet, but pretty happy with the lead by 1. Are you surprised at all by anything in that first half?
I am not. I thought Tom Brady would be impacted by the emotion. I think he has, but I think he'll be better in the second half.
I thought it'd be a higher scoring first half, but I'm actually surprised that the Patriots have completely abandoned the run game and they're just going with the pass game, but it's working.
Just 5 rushing attempts to New England in the first half. Some highlights from the day as well coming up on the Toyota halftime. Stay with us.
Want more stats? Hey Siri, who leads the league in passing touchdowns?
Had a great reception when Tom Brady ran out, but not when he ran out for his first series. They turned into Patriots fans forever one more time, and it was a great emotion in the building. Brady, 15 of 27. Mac Jones, 15 of 20, the lone touchdown pass. Patriots by 1. Home at the half. Welcome to the Toyota halftime. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, and Drew Brees. So it's Brady's return. It was also supposed to be Rob Gronkowski's return. He's out with the rib and potentially lung injury as well. They miss him, and Brady misses him.
He really did, especially in the red zone. They moved the ball well in the middle of the field, but when they got down in tight, Patriots did a great job of mixing coverages, and he didn't have that big tight end to throw to. A lot of single coverage here on the tight end. Usually these are touchdowns. They were off today, and then mixing the coverage, getting pressure. 2 field goals in the red zone, unlike Tom Brady.
And a field goal miss in this rain as well. You met Mac Jones before the game. He complimented you on your suit. You can compliment him on his play in the first half.
Yeah, not half bad. I think they started off a little bit slow. They weren't really able to run the ball effectively. But then they got to this no-huddle offense, and Mac Jones started to find his rhythm. Watch how he slides here to avoid this free rusher, yet keep his shoulders balanced and down the field in a throw-ready position. Here, watch how he's working his way through the progressions, finds the shallow cross to his tight end. He has really done a nice job, feeling it right now, of working this no-huddle offense. You can see him checking the plays, certainly a command and a confidence level is coming.
One of the reasons Brady left, they didn't have the guys around him. Hunter Henry, part of the $165 million guarantee they spent, that touchdown, the 1-point lead. But
highlights are brought to you by Chevrolet.
All eyes tonight on Gillette Stadium, and a full house of 66,000 await the grand entrance. Ryan Suckup, and there are the first points of the game. Jones fires, that's caught, and getting into the end zone. Hunter Henry for the touchdown.
How about this?
Chevrolet, find new roads.
7-6 in the most anticipated regular season game in memory. Brady setting an NFL record for career passing yards, eclipsing the mark held by Drew Brees. Mac Jones, 75%, 130 total. The only touchdown of the game. You saw the highlight of that. 6 rushes, -6 yards. Fewest ever under Belichick in a first half. They basically abandoned the running game, and Brady, first game without a team touchdown in the first half in this stadium since back at the end of the 2014 season.
Enough said.
Could win another.
He could. He's going to have trouble getting out of here tonight, though. That was an impressive first half by the Patriots. It was an impressive first half.
Bruce Arians celebrating to a degree his 69th birthday. Bouncing ball fielded at the 1 by Mickens. And the coverage is great. Stop to the 14. We go to Michelle.
Al,
Well, we saw Carlton Davis leave the game and go off on a cart. He is out for the game with a quad injury, but Bruce Arians told me he is comfortable with Richard Sherman being in there as much as needed and Pierre Desir knowing the defense. He's more concerned about his offense finishing drives. He acknowledged Tom Brady missed a couple of throws. Bill Belichick said his offense committed too many penalties. Defensively, they need to tackle Leonard Fournette better. Both coaches told me this weather is not that much of a factor, guys.
Well, that's interesting in the sense that Brady's been off target on a lot. Those penalties Belichick talked about, they were able to overcome a couple on that one drive, as this starts with a little run here for a gain of about 3 yards.
Yeah, the Buccaneers are able to stay a little bit balanced. And on the other side, all the pressure is going to be on Mac Jones. He is going to have to carry this thing himself for the rest of the way because they are not going to be able to run that football.
Gain of 4 there for Fournette. 2nd down and 6. Brady fires, dropped. Great. You gonna tell me the weather's not a factor?
It's an absolute factor. I mean, it just is. And Brady, I think, is starting to realize what he has to do, which is take a little off the football, which he does on this throw. But it's for everybody. You know, it's for the receivers. It's for the quarterbacks. Nobody likes to play in the rain. If you're used to playing in dry weather, it's hard.
3rd down and 6. Brady, good protection. Deep downfield, Brown is there and makes the catch, but a flag is down. Threw it over the head of Jonathan Jones. And the Patriots throwing their arms up at the line of scrimmage as if to indicate they know it's on them.
Hands to the face. Offensive 76. Half an inch to the goal. The keeps going down.
On the offense on Donovan Smith, the left tackle. They went that long gain.
It's just a killer penalty right here. Let's take a look.
Well, if that's not holding, what is?
Well, hold, I could have seen. I guess that's hands to the face. I've never seen it quite like that. But the one guy who has been getting open and having some down-the-field threat is, in fact, Antonio Brown. But Matthew Judon is saving this defense right now. His consistent pressure and then that play being taken off the board because of the hold or the hands to the face.
3rd and 15. Fournette with room to roam. Gets stopped up at the 16-yard line. Duggar and Phillips are there on the stop.
Yeah, Al, you really hit on something right there because Adrian Phillips, number 21, and Kyle Duggar, number 23, are 2 guys that are sort of traditionally in the safety sort of positions. And yet here they are. They're always up around the line of scrimmage, and you never know for sure. Are these guys, are they going to rush? Are they going to drop back in coverage? But they give this defense and they give Belichick great versatility up front.
Nobody deep for the moment. But Olszewski, now he backs up. He'll be doing that on every punch situation here. This will be Pinion's 3rd punt. Short. 49. Olszewski stays in bounds and sets him up in good position. So Pinion with a short line drive kick of 34 yards. Frustration on the face of Smith after that penalty wiped out what would have been a long gain to Brown. Legendary quarterback, but who calls the plays at home? Terry Bradshaw and family back for a new season of the Bradshaw Bunch. Hit series returns Wednesday at 9 only on E! Partner, I want you to set your DVR, okay?
I will watch Terry Bradshaw. He makes me laugh.
Me too. 38-yard line. There's a lot of people laugh. Starting this drive after the short punt, 11-yard run back. Harris, who got hurt end of the half, is back in. Play fake to him. Jones has time. Then he hits Harris out of the backfield. And he picks up about 8 to the 30-yard line. Tackle made there by Shaq Barrett.
I'm so impressed with Mac Jones. I've seen what he's been able to do when he was at Alabama, throwing for over 4,500 yards, 77% completion. That was a record. So they're going to try and come across here. It didn't work. But watch him. He's just going to check down. There you go. That's NFL quarterback play right there. And that's what he's been doing better than any of the rookies so far this season.
Quick pace. He ran kind of that old muddle huddle that time. A couple of yards back of the line of scrimmage. Come up quickly. And it's going to be close to a first down. You know, Chris, I'm thinking at the beginning of the game, you think, okay, they want to shorten the game, the Patriots do. They're going to run the ball. They're doing everything but. They're not running the ball, and they're playing quick paced.
Well, I mean, if you watch Tampa's defense, and in particular, if you watch their interior three, especially Vita Vea in there at 350 pounds, William Golston and Ndamukong Suh, you're just not going to run on these guys. They're reduced down there. They're just going to cram you back in the backfield. But they also, because they're so determined to stop the run, they won't get the immediate pressure. So if you trust your quarterback and you spread it out, you have a good shot to beat them.
Gets it to the outside. Oh, look out. The ball is out, and it's picked up by the Bucs. Richard Sherman comes away with it. Winfield knocks it out. J.J. Taylor could not handle it. So a turnover, and the Bucs have it down by 1.
For a little bit. What do I do with all his shirts?
He's still our beloved. He'll get his applause, but when he gets his first sack, we will cheer for that too.
Yeah, I'm pissed. We spent so much time together. He won us all these championships, and then he just left. Like I just saw my ex-boyfriend get married.
Meanwhile, the crowd, an ode to CCR. Have you ever seen the rain?
Yeah,
we have.
Yeah.
They love to sing Sweet Caroline at Fenway. Seen the rain here. Fournette, after the turnover, picks up 8, gets out to the 40-yard line. Make it 2nd down and 2.
Antoine Winfield having a big impact on this game. An interception, that forced fumble, and that was needed. You could just feel the confidence of the Patriots growing. And that play was a stinger. And it also sort of was a testament that James White not being here is a big deal. That's his play.
Winfield's dad made a few plays like that his illustrious career. 2nd down and 2. Keep it on the ground. Fournette is going to get racked up at the line of scrimmage, setting up a 3rd down and 2. Lawrence Guy is there in the middle to stop him. 3rd and a deuce.
Nobody teaches two-gapping defense like this. Here and now you're responsible for both sides of that guy that you're making contact with. Extend, bench press that guy right off of you and make a play. Beautifully done that time by Lawrence Guy.
3rd and a short 2. 5 minutes into the 2nd half. Brady fires, it's tipped and incomplete. That Patriot defense rises to the occasion again. Wise with the tip. 4th down.
Probably their best overall defensive player. He's never going to have the statistics. He's never going to have the sacks. But that guy right there, Dietrich Wise, makes so many plays for this defense, and this one was huge. The great underestimated part of this game and this matchup was the growth that we're starting to see on the defensive side of the ball by the Patriots.
Who committed the game with a record of 1-2 and off a bad loss to New Orleans. But right now on top, Pinion's kick. Olszewski is back there. Fields at the 18, gets tackled up at the 23-yard line. 9:41 left in the 3rd. 7-6. First game in the history of the league. Both coaches 69 or older. Belichick already there, and Bruce is there tonight. Still their second and third to Pete Carroll. Big win for his squad today of the Seahawks.
Maybe we need more 69-year-old coaches. They seem to be doing all right, huh?
Not bad. A few Super Bowls amongst them.
Look at Mac Jones. He looks like he's out for playing in the backyard.
Number 23, backward pass. Aguilar. It's bounced down after a hard-earned 4-yard gain.
I'll tell you what's been so impressive to me is that Mac Jones is handling the pressure. They have been blitzing at about a 50% clip in that first half. He has been under pressure at about a 40% clip, and yet he's hanging in there and he's making the reads, he's taking the hits, and they are not flustering.
That was the backward pass, which counts as a rush. Jones, they get him off the spot, but he can't get far enough off the spot. William Golston with the sack. So Arians was lamenting the fact they didn't have any sacks. They had 3 officially before tonight. Now they have 3 in this game.
Right there's going to be the issue because Justin Herron is in there taking over for Trent Brown. If Trent Brown were on this offensive line, I don't think they'd be sitting there with minus yardage running the football right now. He's a 380-pound man. Pretty darn good pass protector as well. He only played in the first half of the first game.
Third and 12. Look out! Tryon Shawinka, the rookie from the University of Washington, sat out last year on the COVID list, opted out. Big sack.
Here's when it's nice to have somebody like Vita Vea help your cause out. Watch him take out the whole right side there and allow Tryon Shawinka to come in and get the glory. But that was Vita Vea wiping out half an offensive line.
Joe told us last night he's the 32nd and final pick in the first round. His agent told him the pick is in and it's not you. And then it was him.
He had to go buy a hat. Nobody had a hat for the Bucs.
Talk about bad information. Fielded at the 30 by Mickens. Flag is down and the flag is out, and the Patriots think they have the ball, but let's see about the penalty. Matthew Slater, who's been a demon throughout his career on special teams, is the guy who forced it.
The official is calling it down by contact, so we will see. I don't know who comes away with the ball, but that's what the official is calling.
Slater was out of bounds, and he may have been out of bounds too long. He's the gunner on the play, son of the Hall of Famer Jackie. There he is. Is he out of bounds too long? Let's take a look.
You can get forced out of bounds, but you can't opt to stay there. Once you're there, you've got to force your way back onto the field. You can't run down out of bounds. It's a good call.
Yeah, he was out of bounds for 35 or 40 yards.
And he's also the one that got the ball out. Yeah, they got it, but it's not going to matter.
No. Bill Vinovich taking him back.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Kicking team number 18 went out of bounds and did not return immediately. 15-yard penalty. Tampa keeps the ball. First down.
I'll say that was like a connecting flight.
There has not been a better special teams player in the league, 9 times a Pro Bowler, but he knows the obligation here. You can't, basically, you can't run out of bounds because then they can't go out of bounds to block you. There'd be a foul on you. So the officials will force you to come right back in. A great play by Slater at the end of it. Unfortunately, not legal to get there.
Perennial Pro Bowler. So we're halfway through the quarter. Belichick checking out the replay. But out of bounds for a good, what, 30, 35 yards of it.
Yeah, I don't think Belichick's even going to question the call. He knows what the rules are. That guy has been an amazing special teams player, though. Yeah, the crowd seeing the hit now and what happened up there, but the call itself pretty clear cut.
Since the kicking team recovered the ball, we have to go to the previous spot and force the foul. Replay, 4th down.
All right, let's take a look at the Walmart Plus 4K Sky Cam and Matthew Judon, and he has impacted the game in a huge way. Just like Mac Jones on the offensive side, it's been Judon who Belichick just could not sing his praises anymore, could he, Al, than what he did with us the other day. And he is showing up big so far in this one.
Yeah, I mentioned before, he told us, he said he was the best player on Baltimore's defense. Well, that's a great defense.
Yeah, Bill's line is always, he was a problem.
Right.
Everything. When he says he was a problem, that's when you know he's a great player.
And the Patriots went out and spent a lot of money in free agency. Rebuilt the team. This was one of the centerpieces right there. So they moved the ball all the way back to what would be a 4th down and 27. And Bailey's going to kick from out of his own end zone with Mickens standing near midfield.
Yeah, this is the Buccaneers' big opportunity. This is going to be a huge swing.
Now Bailey's walking over toward the sideline. Wait for Vinovich to come back out. Now we're ready. We think. And off we go. Back check. Mickens from the 36. And to about midfield, and we check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, Matt Judon says his success as a pass rusher is simply a product of his love for football. As for how he hones his skills, he said, actually, I dance a lot. You got the hips, the knees, the ankles, the head, shoulders, hands, all that. It makes me one heck of a dancer. He told me in 2020 he signed up for tap dancing classes with his daughter. They were short-lived because of the pandemic, but that has not stopped him from burning up the dance floor that is the football field, Al.
Whatever it takes. Dancing, yoga, you name it. Brady off the fake, sets up the screen. Fournette. Good moves, picks up the 1st down. Judon is there to stop him at about the 41-yard line.
Yeah, one of the things that you love seeing is not just guys who get sacks and all of that, but guys who make hustle plays going back down the field. Clearly fooled on this one. Screen pass got him. He did not take a moment off. Comes back and makes a big play.
Fournette tonight, 11 carries, 62 yards. 12th carry. To about the 39. Penalty. Flag at the line of scrimmage.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Defense number 93. 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
That's Lawrence Sky.
Take a look. We can see it. I don't.
Yeah, we can see it, but nobody else can.
I mean, that's not even close. There wasn't a hand anywhere. They had to have a number off.
Might have been 92. Not sure. Fournette. Inside the 30-yard line he goes. Nice night for him. 13 carries, 71 yards. Over 5 per tote. 5 yards per carry tonight.
Yeah, you just start getting worn down a little bit. Alex Kappa pulling out and around, and you just wonder how much longer can this Patriots defense hang in there, because now they're starting to get those big bodies going downhill, and Leonard Fournette, it starts to take a toll.
They've outgained the Patriots by a better than 2-to-1 ratio. 2nd and 3. Fournette again runs into his own guys, pushes them away, and takes it to the 20 for a first down. So the ground game working for the Bucs on this series.
Yeah, and one of the things we should bring up, I don't know if we have yet or not, but Juwan Bentley, who's probably their best interior downhill run stuffing linebacker, is not in this game. So we're seeing a lot more of the Adrian Phillips and Kyle Duggars and those guys in there, along with Hightower.
Van Noy as well, 53. He was with them, went away for a year and came back. Fournette gets a rest. Ronald Jones comes in. Under 5 minutes left in the 3rd. Fake to Jones. Brady keeping his eyes downfield, and then throws a wobbly pass and out of bounds, incomplete. Chased by Barmore, 2nd down and 10.
Nice shot by Adrian Phillips right here. They're going to go hard play action and try and hit that right behind the Cameron Brate. But sometimes you get a guy that has some DB in him. He starts to understand what's coming and made a nice play there to take it away from Brady.
Brady took a shot from Barmore at the end of the play. Steve Belichick.
I'm telling you, Gruden light.
Got a few memes coming from that. 2nd down and 10. To the outside, open there, making the grab is Mike Evans. And that'll set up a 3rd and 1 from the 11-yard line.
Yeah, that was the first time they've really come back to that. We started the game, and it was a whole lot of Mike Evans out there one-on-one. But now you just got to think this big, powerful offensive line, they're going to probably stick with this thing here. They've been too good, but no Fournette in the backfield this time.
Jones stays in. 3rd and 1. Give it to Jones, and he'll get the first down. It's inside the 10-yard line, setting up a 1st and goal with 4 minutes to play in the quarter.
Yeah, you start to get those double teams, and it gets pretty easy going right behind these big guys right in here. And let's face it, the interior of the offensive line of the Bucs a week ago was not at its best. Marpet, Jensen, Kappa gave up a lot of pressures in that game, and they're coming back and showing their pride in this one.
Jones again to the outside. Jones to the end zone. Touchdown. Ali Marpet pulling, leading the way, and then he goes for the score as Tampa takes the lead. 8 yards for the TD.
Great job by Marpet pulling all the way across, but that was also a heck of a block by Cameron Brate on the outside right out here, because this is a really tough block. Try and stay on, stay on, stay on, and then there comes Marpet to kick out. Remember the rules now. Those defensive backs can no longer come in and cut the legs of those pulling offensive linemen. So more and more we're seeing those plays called.
Ryan Suckup for the extra point. So that is an 8-play drive, 52 yards, 5 of those 8 on the ground. 13-7 in favor of the Super Bowl champs. Rain, though, in Foxborough, 30 miles down the road, has abated somewhat. Tampa Bay has just retaken the lead. They led 3-0. They're up now 13-7. Back there to run the kickback will be Brandon Bolden. Pinion sending it down there. Bolden bringing it back from 2 yards deep to about the 22-yard line. Talking earlier about breaking the bank for the Patriots, redoing the team. So what they did in free agency, they spent over $310 million, of which 164 was guaranteed, both most in the National Football League. Through week 3, 11 starters not with the team in 2020, most new starters since 2001, the year that Brady took over for Bledsoe, and they wound up winning the Super Bowl.
This is a developing football team. There's no question about it. They're going to be better in a month than they are right now, for sure.
From the 23-yard line. Jones. That's going to be caught. Good gain, breaking tackles. Harris all the way out to the 45-yard line. Devin White came in, put the heat on, but the pass is thrown, and it's a gain of 20 yards.
This blitz has been here all night. Devin White coming, but this time, watch Mac Jones get out of here, just like we talked about with Tom Brady. He avoids the speedy White and comes up with a big play. Sometimes the best way to make them stop blitzing you is to burn the blitz, and that's exactly what Mac Jones did there.
Play fake, pass, caught. This time, Nelson Aguilar, and he takes the ball into Tampa Bay territory. Desir making the tackle.
Yeah, it's interesting. They're coming out and basically not going spread, but throwing the ball. But watch this throw, Al. I mean, he's standing there. And I'll tell you the other thing I like about Mac Jones, that ball is coming out quickly. I don't know what the release time is, but that's quick.
Jones 19 of 24 for 172. Another completion, this time a short one to Jacoby Myers, tackled by David Dare.
That's quite the accomplishment there for Mac Jones, because he finally made him back out of the blitz. So now they're just going to rush 3 and drop these guys. Why are they doing that? They're doing it because Mac Jones earned their respect. They usually just blitz, blitz, blitz against a rookie quarterback, but he was making them pay.
2nd and 5. Bolden is the back. Pass caught inside the 30-yard line. Goes to N'Keal Harry, who was their #1 pick back in 19, oft injured. Been disappointing, basically. Got him back this week. He's been hurt. Makes the grab here.
I'm sort of giggling a little bit because these are all of Tom Brady's plays. All this play action, hit the hook out here, right? We've seen Tom Brady do this stuff a million times. So in a lot of ways, I'm watching Brady's offense with Josh McDaniels play each other.
Should have copyrighted him.
Yeah.
4 times as many passes as runs. Jonnu Smith, the tight end, one of those free agent pickups. Picked him up from Tennessee, and that's a first down in the final minute of the quarter.
Great play design here, because they're going to swing the back out wide, first of all, and to open it up out there for Jonnu Smith. Here we go, swing the back, make the coverage go. Here comes the second guy. There's nobody there. All those kinds of things that overloads a defense on one side is just a tremendous concept to put in front of a well-coached team like the Bucs.
All passes on this drive, and one here. Set up a screen. Bolden to about the 1-yard line. Levante David, for the moment, saves the touchdown. 1st and goal, and that should take us to the end of the quarter.
Al, have you ever seen a rookie quarterback play better in no huddle than he plays when he's getting help from the sideline?
Tremendous.
It's awesome.
Another fantastic finish on Sunday Night Football. We've had a few. 13-7. End of 3. Sunday Night Football from Foxborough. Back after these messages. Fourth quarter. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. 13-7 Tampa Bay. But a good drive here, starting at their own 23. 6 plays, all passes, and it's a 1st and goal now for New England.
A phenomenal drive so far. It really is. When you have a rookie quarterback that watches Tom Brady take his team down, score, take the lead, you start going, oh, okay, the inevitable is going to happen. And every time it's happened tonight, Mac Jones has come right back the other way.
Second great drive for him. Harris is the back. Fake it to him. Caught. Touchdown. Jonnu Smith. Run play action. Put a fullback in the backfield, and then Smith gets free in the back of the end zone.
From the 1-yard line, you're not going to let a rookie throw the ball, are you? Surely you're going to try and just cram it in there. Well, that's what they thought, too. Here we go. Zip. What a drive. All right, we've talked about what this would mean to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. What would a win tonight mean to Mac Jones?
It's an early coming of age.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, for this rookie. Fall for the extra point. And New England retakes the lead. 3 seconds into the fourth quarter.
All right, you want a little direct comparison between Mac Jones and Tom Brady? One of the things that's made Brady so great over the years, despite the fact that he's a big guy, the release time has always been very, very fast. How about Mac Jones? Where do you think that is? The math major has figured that out as well. Look how quick that release is. Briefly up, briefly out, and he is reading defenses. He's playing no huddle, 4.0 grade point average, and Josh McDaniels has a new toy over there.
Yes, he does.
Look at that. 77% completion percentage in college for a record, and he's doing the same thing in the NFL.
He's completed 16 in a row. The last 16, he's only thrown 5 incompletions. All came earlier. Smith, who had a really bad day last week against New Orleans, takes the lead here, with the extra point being good for the difference in the game right now at 14-13.
This kid in the national championship game only threw for 464 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I think he's been there, done that. If he were afraid of this spotlight, he wouldn't have been playing for Alabama.
Isn't bad either, being coached up by Saban and Belichick. That's a pretty good daily double. A short kick fielded at the 15-yard line. And a nice open field tackle there. Tyler Johnson was there and Bolden down there to make the stop. So Brady, when he faces rookie quarterbacks, 20-5 throughout his career. 14 of the last 15. Last time he lost to a rookie quarterback, Geno Smith was quarterbacking the Jets back in 13. Could it happen tonight? Early fourth, 1-point game. Start the drive to the 24. Fournette out to the 30-yard line. He goes. Leonard Fournette, 15 carries for 83 yards tonight.
Yeah, they're going to attack the smaller guys in there. But this has a real advantage for Bill Belichick, in my opinion. Every time they're running the ball, this clock is also running. So if you came into this game and you have Tom Brady against Mac Jones, you would say, get me to late in the fourth quarter, I'll take my chances.
Yeah, get me into the fourth quarter with the lead. Fournette to the outside, nothing cooking there, third down.
They have so many of these smaller, safety-looking linebacker kind of guys playing. A guy like Kyle Duggar can shoot through. Now, he didn't make the play this time, but they are starting to get on their toes, take some chances with this running game. They need one negative play. You just need one negative play sometimes to throw off that offensive rhythm.
Crowd frenzied again, 66,000. It's all standing room tonight. Nobody has sat down. Third down and 3. 3-man rush. Brady gets it away. That's caught on the outside by Antonio Brown. To move the sticks.
Yeah, one of the problems if you're going to do that, Al, if you're going to just rush 3, you have to squeeze that easy throw, right? You have to have all those covered because Tom Brady is not going to miss one. They had one guy sort of left alone as they ran off the corner of that side, and he just does not miss those guys. He sees them every time.
Mills was directing traffic. Handoff through the middle. Fournette again. But all of the hard work tonight, the dirty work, out to the 42-yard line on his 17th carry.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching this Christian Barmore, not just in this game tonight, but on tape getting ready for this game. He just has it all. I think he really does. He's one of those guys that sort of gets that, you know what I mean, that two gap. You just jam him up in there, and then you try to come off either way. I think he fits this defense perfectly.
Brady over the middle and incomplete. Third down. So nothing doing on the right side. Went back over the middle, and it's third down and 6.
So you're going to see Tom Brady. They came up in that double-A blitz look, backed out of it. So again, showed him something pre-snap, forced him to read it on the fly, and nothing there. So now we're starting to get into some of those moments, right? These are those Tom Brady moments where he tends to always win. But this defense of the Patriots has been playing great tonight.
7 defensive backs. Rushing 4. Brady stepping up. Brady will take off, and Brady's going to pick up a first down. Stopped by Gotcha there, but Tom Brady, not known, of course, for his running ability, but somehow, some way, when he needs one, he picks up 6.
You don't think this game means anything to him, do you?
Not much.
You know, but I will say, in talking to Devin McCourty, look at his face. That's awesome. Talking to Devin McCourty, he said, you know, the difference between us being possibly 3-0 and where we are is we have not been making those plays in those gotta-have-it moments. That was a gotta-have-it moment, and Tom Brady beat it with his legs.
Back to the ground, Jones this time. Into by a yard or so. New England territory, second down. Patriots trying to get to the 500 mark at 2-2. Arians trying to fly home with his team. They'll meet Miami next week in Tampa with a mark of 3-1.
This has been an aggressive night on both sides of the ball. We have seen the Patriots with a million looks. We have seen Arians' defense out there blitzing and trying to pressure this rookie quarterback all night. They are letting it hang out here this evening.
Only the Steelers have fewer rushing yards through 3 weeks than New England, and Brady is going to call for an exasperated timeout. 2nd and 6 when we come back. 1-point game on Sunday Night Football. Who's official home improvement sponsor of the NFL by Hyundai Tucson and Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs, by Applebee's, now that's eating good in the neighborhood, and by Universal Pictures. Halloween Kills in theaters October the 15th. Look back at some of those returns. Willie Mays with the Mets against the Giants, Joe Montana, Chiefs against the 49ers. You saw Michael Jordan, Wizards Bulls, Peyton Manning, Broncos Colts, and Tom and Galen Brady, Tom's parents, watching his return. Set up for a dramatic finish. 11 minutes to go. It's second down and 6. And Brady throws a screen, and Fournette's going to get free. Fournette inside the 30 and out of bounds at the 24-yard line. Leonard Fournette, 88 yards on the ground, and tonight 3 grabs for 47 through the air.
Jelani Tavea has been the guy that had to replace Juwan Bentley and just missed there. Al, so far the difference in this game, the rushing yards. Patriots -1 yards. Tom Brady was 6.
That is the stat of the night. New England 8 rushes, Brady 1 rush. And it was a big one on a third down. keep the drive going from the 25-yard line. Jones. It's 1 second down.
We have seen some really physical battles going on inside tonight on both sides of the ball. We talked about Vita Vea and Dominican Sue and how dominant they've been against the run. Lawrence Guy inside, Devon Gottschall and Dietrich Wise. This has been big boy football out here tonight. It really has been, and it's probably going to decide the game. If the Bucs can keep running this thing down the field, eventually the Patriots are going to wear down.
Rain is stopped. Second down and 9 at the 24. Brady throws, not looking around. In time was Mike Evans, double covered on the play. Third down and 9. Good job on Evans done. J.C. Jackson and Phillips are there.
Yeah, a little surprised on the outside. They have safety help over the top, but J.C. Jackson and Mike Evans has just been going at it all night long. Most people eventually, Evans can physically wear them down, but Jackson has hung in there great and reminded Evans of it right there.
3rd and 9. Here they come on the blitz. Beats it with a throw over the middle, caught by Cameron Brate to the 5-yard line. So they come right at him. He gets rid of the ball in a hurry to Brate for a gain of 19.
Just a great read. Sometimes you make it too easy on them. They're just going to bring everybody, which leaves one-on-one, cover 0 blitz, which all that means is no free safety in the middle of the field. And Brady knows all that is catch, throw, just as quickly as you can get it out, because you cannot block all the guys they are blitzing after you.
Talking to Winovich, a couple of Michigan cats from the 6-yard line, trying to bounce his way off, but he can't. Judon is right there, taking care of Fournette there. It'll be 2nd down and goal.
That's really the difference between Judon and the other edge players that they have on this defense, is that Judon is physical enough to come in here and blow this thing up. The other guys, Josh Uche, Chase Winovich, they're really good pass rushers, but they don't have this sort of physical edge that you see from Judon.
8:15 left in the 4th. Brady to the outside and through the hands of Fournette.
Here we go.
3rd and goal.
Game time.
Well, they're 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive, which has now consumed 6 minutes and 48 seconds, and this will be the 14th play.
No Gronk, no Giovanni Bernard, Mike Evans, typically the next target after that because of the big physical nature. They just got burned on a 0 blitz. I think they're probably going to drop back 8 into this zone and take their chances.
Only one guy with his hand on the ground. Send 4. Brady under pressure, avoids the sack, keeps it alive, throws into the back of the end zone and incomplete. O.J. Howard was there, Evans as well. 4th and goal. In comes the field goal group.
But you'll be able to see how many people back in here. You just keep thinking in this game how valuable Gronkowski is to this football team. Just that guy, it's never pretty looking, right? He just kind of has a way of putting his body in some position. And Hoy couldn't catch up to him. What a game this is going to be.
27-yard attempt for Suckup to try to give them the lead. He's 2 out of 3 tonight. And the Buccaneers are back on top by 2. 7:58 left in regulation. 16-14. Tampa Bay. Tonight we'll be in Kansas City. That means the Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs. Josh Allen and his club, big win today against Houston, routed them. Kansas City held off Philadelphia. Allen and Mahomes. So we have the most anticipated game that we can remember tonight, and it's hardly back to the scrappy. Next week, it's the two teams that met for the AFC Championship at Arrowhead a week from tonight. Touchback.
All right, let's take a look at our next gen stats powered by AWS, and this is the key of the whole night. It has been Mac Jones under siege. He's a rookie. Let's go get him. We're going to blitz him all night long. Look what he's done. 12 for 14, 134 yards, touchdown, and an interception. But I think most importantly, he has sort of proven not just to the Bucs tonight, but maybe to the league as a whole, you better think twice about how you're trying to come after him.
They go to the air again here. Completes another one, barely staying in bounds and picking up the first down is Aguilar. Desir almost picked it. First down.
Nelson Aguilar almost cost Mac Jones an interception there. He stopped coming back to the ball. You just can't do that. He's going to get to the top of the route out there, and then the ball is in the air right now. He sees it and just barely is able to get it before the defender got there.
Short drop, pass caught, 40-yard line. Myers makes the grab, stop by White.
I tell you, Mac Jones is taking a beating. It's like every time he throws the ball, somebody's just doinking him. It's like every single play, but he refuses to yield. He just refuses.
Look at that, 18 consecutive completions. Longest streak by a rookie over 30 years, the last 30. Second down and 7. Jones fires, another completion, and a first down. Myers again, this time Sherman makes the stop. 6.5 to go in the fourth.
He's just reading these defenses so well. When he sees that man-to-man coverage, he's going to these back shoulder throws on the fly. He's doing it at the line of scrimmage. I'm not surprised he's a 4.0 student. He looks like it out here running this offense.
To the ground. Oh, razzle-dazzle. Myers, the old high school quarterback, throws. It's Aguilar to the 10-yard line. Crowd going wild. The pass good for 21. Is first and goal.
Everybody's hot throwing the football for the Patriots. But one of the first things that Todd Bowles told me this week, the defensive coordinator, he said, A, I know that Jacoby Myers could throw the ball, and B, I know we're going to get trick plays in the game. He was right on both accounts.
We saw Myers throw a touchdown pass in a Sunday night game against Baltimore here last year. Looking for 20 in a row. Throws? No. Streak finally ends, but that equals the longest streak of Brady's career. 19 consecutive completions. Second down and goal.
Well, and this is just huge, because if you give Tom Brady the ball back and all he needs is a field goal to win the game, he's going to get a field goal and he's going to beat you. You put a touchdown up here, and now it's a little different story. Now they have to put it in the end zone to knock you off here at home, and you know this crowd would be going berserk.
Yeah, we've seen Brady's act a few times. Second and goal. Jones rolling, throwing, look out, and is very, very lucky it wasn't picked. Devin White right there. Third and goal.
4.0 just made straight A's and an F. That was an F. That was nearly a pick six to end this game right here. Watch him as he's rolling. He tries to throw back across his body, and there's Devin White. The ball's going to hit him right in the hands.
That's an F, and the teacher wrote back at the top of the page, "See me."
Yeah, get it signed by your parents.
Third down and goal. Holden is the back. Turns around, makes the grab, but in traffic and can't get away. Got him by the shirt. The 9-yard line. White is there. So in comes the field goal unit. You got Falk coming in. He has a streak going. He's kicked 35 consecutive field goals. He hasn't missed since week 2 last year on a Sunday night game in Seattle.
But he also has had an issue with his plant leg. And we shall see if that hampers him or not.
Bailey to put it down from 27 out to give them the lead, which he does.
How about this setting up for a finish?
Yeah. Well, it's Sunday night. What else did you expect? High above downtown Boston, tonight's aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico. We're in Foxborough, home of the Patriots. This stadium, anyway, since '02. Opened it up after their Super Bowl championship win in the 2001 season, 17-16. Some fabulous games played here. Another one tonight on a very special night. Touchback. Brady's night. Tom shows up. Team staying in Providence, comes in. He's walking in past our trucks. Robert Kraft is right there, his boss over all those years. Came out about as late as we've seen a quarterback come out. Josh McDaniels with a hug there. Went to work. There was the record, a little clumsy in the sense that they gave him that extra yard at the end, but Vinovich gives him the ball. On they went. And here we are with Brady 20 of 39 for 250. Starts from the 25. Just three-man rush deep down the sideline and is incomplete, but a flag comes in and Van Noy says, you got to be kidding, on a pass intended for Fournette.
One thing that Brady definitely knows, if Kyle Van Noy is out in coverage, I'm taking my shot.
Pass interference. Defense number 53. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
He would know. He played with them for years.
Yeah, easy call. Head wasn't around. Contact early. Easy call. Now the clock gets interesting, right?
Very.
The great veteran quarterbacks know not only how to put points on the board in this situation, but how to also milk that clock so it doesn't go back the other way.
31-yard penalty. 4:28. They start the milking right here as Leonard Fournette picks up about 3. It'll be second down.
Yeah, and still plenty of sequences left here. You know, I think that's exactly what Brady was doing, saying, let's go ahead and we're going to run it. We're going to stay balanced. We're going to try and draw this clock down. But this Patriots defense has had some answers tonight, and they need a star to step up. Judon has been the guy for the most part this evening that's done this, but this game may well come down to J.C. Jackson against Mike Evans.
They're at the bottom of the screen. Brady looking that way, fires that way. There it is. There's the matchup you're talking about. We got a flag.
Offensive.
Evans had a choice word or two.
Pass interference. Defense number 13. Correction. Offense number 13. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
It's the 7th penalty of the night against Tampa Bay.
Evans such a big man. People want to try and get out and get physical with him. Let's take a look. Yep, I would say that's a push. And now the opportunity. That was the break this Patriots defense needed. This gives them a chance. They have to make 2 stops here.
Second down, 17. Ball at their own 49-yard line. Good protection. Fired. Going to the ground is Evans and hauls it in. So Evans had enough space. Evans down at the 41-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and about 6.
Let's take a look. Yeah, no problem. 2 throws in a row here to Evans.
And Jonathan Jones is down. to stop the clock with 3:18.
He is their slot cornerback and a key guy in a moment like this. They would be down to, if he could not go, probably Justin Bethel, who has been mostly a special teams player in his career, being put in that position. And I promise you, Tom Brady would know immediately.
So Leftwich going over things with Brady. The offensive coordinator is about 2.5 years younger than his student. Jones will have to come out for at least one play. And Bethel does indeed. There he is coming in, number 29.
So here it is. Basically, they're probably going to play some kind of zone. I can't imagine they're going to want Bethel coming right off the bench cold and having to play man-to-man against one of these guys. But who knows? And the other thing I'd say, don't be stunned if Tom Brady takes off and runs with this football.
Well, he did before for a 6-yard gain, and that was one of the 8 conversions. They're 8 out of 16 on 3rd down. 3 receivers to the left. Brady looking that way. Slides, throws, caught. 31-yard line. Antonio Brown. They pick it up again. That's 9 3rd down conversions tonight, and under 3 minutes to go in a 1st down.
And they go right after Justin Bethel. First play, and they're going to go a little short motion down inside with AB, get a little traffic going in there, and then back to the outside again. So, as usual, Tom Brady misses nothing, and they made up for the lost yardage, and now they are in great shape.
Now, we've got Jones back in, missed that one play, Bethel out. Using the clock, already in field goal range. To the 30, Fournette gets wrestled down by Adrian Phillips. And New England's going to take a timeout here. So they have all 3. Now they use 1 here. And the clock, of course, will stop at the 2-minute warning. You know, the strategy tonight has been fascinating.
Well, it's phenomenal, Alan, and obviously I don't want to talk all over you all the time, but I'm watching what the defenses are pre-snap and then what they are once the ball is snapped. They have made Tom Brady use every ounce of his brain cells this evening, figuring it out as he catches the ball, as he turns around and tries to find down the field. And it has been a difficult night for Tom Brady, but here he is with one final answer.
Talk all you want. I like listening to you. 2nd down and 8 from the 30. Brady to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Brown was there, ball floating. Jones covering on the play. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, it looked for a minute like Antonio Brown had no idea where that ball was.
He did.
Those sort of high sky balls have been a play that Antonio Brown's made a lot, just stopping on a dime and coming back, but he never saw it. I think that ball was going to be in a spot where he could have caught it if he just did his normal flip around, and Brady went, what?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jones, you saw Jones covering, then he went out again. And now you've got their personnel was messed up that time. They didn't have, I mean, Tampa Bay did him a big favor with the incomplete pass, which automatically stopped the clock. Now you got Jones here, who had to come out of the game. And I'm wondering, did Belichick call the timeout to give Jones that extra minute? Because otherwise Jones would have had to come out for one play.
Well, they put Bethel in the game for one play, and they went right after him on 3rd down before. So, yes, I would say the answer is probably yes.
But he had to use a timeout in that situation just to make sure that Jones didn't have to come out of the game, because he was ready to go to the sideline.
Because if they pick up this 1st down, it's not going to matter anyway. They'll be able to manipulate the clock, kick a field goal at the end of it, and hopefully have their walk-off win if you're a Bucs fan.
Can they pick up a 10th 3rd down conversion tonight? Brady with time. Brady to the end zone, and that is not caught. In bounds. Jones covering on the play. Antonio Brown was there. Couldn't stay in.
How about that on 3rd and 7? You go for it all down the field, and that was close. Jonathan Jones, they go right after him. They realize that he was hurting a little bit. Oh, that was really close. We've seen him make that catch a whole bunch of times.
So now a field goal attempt. This will be from 48. They got another break, though, because the clock stopped at 2:02. So they're going to get the 2-minute warning and still have a timeout on the other side when they get the ball. But this is for the lead, and it is just inside the left upright. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. I don't know what to tell you. Don't touch that dial. 19-17, Tampa Bay. So the rain had stopped. Now it is back.
How do they do that here?
How did they? Well,
Lamar Jackson got to remember that game at the end of it.
Amazing. Meanwhile, Pinion's going to kick off. New England had to use that timeout because they were messed up defensively. Brandon Bolden is back to receive. Can Jones get them into field goal range is the question. And New England had to take that second timeout, which could very much come into play because defensively it looked like Jones was going to come out of the game, then he came back into the game, and then you got Winovich coming in, and there comes Jones, who went to the bench, and he comes back, and you can see Belichick at the top of the screen has to take a timeout because for one of the rare times ever you'll see New England messed up defensively.
Well, the King got it done his direction. Can the young buck bring it back?
From the 25-yard line. In the pocket. Fires. Incomplete. And you got a flag down because over the middle you had Whitehead covering on the play. You say it can't be me.
Pass interference. Defense number 33. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
I don't know about this because you're going to see Hunter Henry's not even going to really be looking for the ball. And here comes Whitehead. He's going to break for the football and try and make the interception. And really, Henry broke across his face without ever looking back. I don't know. Maybe it. I mean, but really, Whitehead ended up going for the ball, and Henry never saw the ball.
Oh, you do know. We do know. It was a bad call. 45-yard line. Jones throws, caught into Bucs territory. This time Henry was looking for the ball. Come up. Conserve that timeout. Clock down to 140. Plenty of time to set up for that field goal if they get in range.
Time is not a factor for New England.
And this will be before the snap here. And a false start. So that turns a 2nd and 1 into a 2nd down and 6.
The snap was late. That was so weird, Al. It wasn't the players jumped off sides. It was the snap was late.
Well, here's Winovich.
Offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down. Please reset the game clock to 1:34.
To Michelle quickly.
Another hit to the Tampa Bay secondary. Antoine Winfield Jr. in the locker room being evaluated for a concussion. That after already losing Carlton Davis tonight. Thinner and thinner, Al.
Yeah, Mike Edwards comes in.
All he did was have 2 pick sixes a couple of games ago.
Against Atlanta, yep. He's number 32. So 2nd down and 6 now. Back at their 49-yard line. They want another false start. They don't get it. To the outside, Bolden, and Bolden will pick up the first down and get out of bounds with 71 seconds.
think there's much doubt about it. That was a flinch. That's a false start. That should have been another 5 yards. Instead, it's first down Patriots. And again, they want to run this clock out. You have to assume you're going to get the field goal kick. You cannot give it back to Brady going the other way.
You saw that last week. He gave it back to Aaron Rodgers. All he needed was 37 seconds. Pressure coming. Pass to the outside is incomplete. Cockrell covering on the play, intended for Jacoby Myers. Second down and 10. It's raining about as hard as it has all night right now.
I'll tell you that Ross Cockrell has done a pretty nice job on the outside. He did last week. I was impressed. He's not an overly athletic guy, but he is just so smart on the football field. He anticipates where the ball is going to be, and he just meets it there. That was a nice play. Pressure again.
Pick it up. Pass to the outside. Is it caught in bounds? Yes, it is. Myers is there. The bench going over to say he was out of bounds. No, sir. Sherman covering on the play. Third down and 3.
Nate Burleson will appreciate a little toe drag swag on that one.
Pat did it.
Nice. But in all likelihood, probably going for it here on fourth down, right? Would you try this kind of a long field goal?
Nah, with the rain? 56 yards in the rain. I think they go for it on a fourth down if they have to. Meanwhile, that's tipped, and now you're going to have to make that decision. That's Levante David. So do you want to try to take the lead? And for the moment, they are going to send Folk in, who has that streak going. 36 straight. The line of scrimmage is the 37.
Career long is 56. I remind you, though, he has had that issue on his plant leg. This would match his longest ever. And if he hits this one in the rain with a bad plant leg, it would be one amazing night.
From 56. On its way. It is off the goalpost. No good. You can hear the doink. Oh, man. Right down to the finish. And then the sound. Boom. Some doinks are better than others. Ask Justin Tucker. But not this one.
Unbelievable.
And the Tampa Bay Bucks. Mr. Jones tonight, he impressed a lot of people around the National Football League, and of course Belichick knew exactly what he was doing. Cam Newton was going to be the starter. Bill said that was going to be the starter up until about June, and now it's this man. But what a night for him. 31 out of 40, 275, 2 touchdowns, and Tom Brady will come back. So Tom Brady has now won more games in Foxborough this year than have the Patriots.
And he's won in all against every team now too, right? But I'll say this. Tom Brady's going to walk out of here with a victory. I am so impressed with what I saw out of the Patriots tonight, and in particular Mac Jones. I thought Mac Jones went toe-to-toe with one of the greatest players in the history of the game. And this fan base is going to embrace what he did this evening, and they are going to be okay after tonight with the fact that they have to turn the page. It was a great performance by Mac Jones.
Had to turn the page at some point to go to Houston next week. Going to come home to face Dallas and the Jets. A couple of kneel downs will end this one, and a happy plane ride home for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as it ends. Hitting the upright. We are the kings of the doinks, the double doinks, the kiboshes, the whole thing.
Hard fought, man. You knew it was going to be. You knew this Patriots team was going to be ready. They were emotional. They were excited. And they played a great game tonight.
All right, so Belichick comes out to the middle of the field. Everyone waiting to see if he says anything. Congratulates Brady. Normally it's coach to coach.
Way to go. Playing great. Good job.
Well, there it is. Okay. And McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels told me this week, he said, I've been around a lot of great football players. I don't know if I'll ever meet a better guy than that guy right there. And Tom Brady said, you send him a text, he's back within 10 seconds. If he has something that he knows going on in your life, a birthday, anything, he's calling, he's texting. He is a personable guy, and you can see the ultimate respect every single one of those players who played with him have for him. And I think they're all happy they don't have to play each other maybe ever. This might be it.
This could be. These divisions face each other normally every 4 years. It's possible, depending on how the standings would go next year. They could meet back here in a couple of years, but why count on it? Let's just savor this one. This was some game.
Yeah, Tom Brady did not come out on the field early. I don't think he wanted all this emotion. I don't think he wanted the handshakes and the hugs and all that stuff. I think he wanted to come out and just play. He knew afterwards he was going to have this, and he's going to take full advantage of it.
Well, you see the great respect, Hoyer. You saw that long hug with Matthew Slater.
Think of all the rings those guys have on their fingers and in this organization. Not due entirely to Tom Brady, but he had a good piece of the action.
And the memories.
Tom's saying, come on, Matthew. Yeah. You're trying to kill me out there.
Yeah. Matthew probably saying, I wish I could have played with you, too.
That was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fascinating game. Great strategy. Drama. Come back. Michelle's going to interview Tom. After these messages from your local NBC station.
What happens when an unlikely alliance
Ariana could be the greatest